Listen, listen, listen. Welcome to Monday Night Tour Rams, where I will ramble on for approximately 3 hours. Um, I don't know. Is there enough to talk about? Well, we'll find out shortly, as we do have a GI Joe fan stream coming up this Wednesday, which means that there will be a special missions, a Circle of Jerks. Which, if you guys are not watching Circle of Jerks yet, I'm not really sure what you're doing. And please, there is a poll. Please, Gucci or Goodwill, go over there, vote in it, and then tune in tomorrow. Maybe you'll find out exactly what Gucci or Goodwill is referring to. But let's just say there's a lot on the line for depending on which brand actually is going to win. Anyway, I hope everyone had a wonderful weekend. Thank you for giving me a little bit of your time after the not long weekend. I guess the short weekend, but to kick off the week. I appreciate it. I gotta say these weekends never seem long enough. But I did get some. I actually did get some videos done. I actually sat down and I got the Night Raven and Strato Viper classic reviews taken care of. If you're a channel member, then you're seeing them. If you're a super toy enabler, you've seen the Night Raven. This weekend, I will get to the Terradrome and AVAC and Firebat, and then I'm going to start doing the other ones, but they're all going to be held back to be released a little bit later. Channel members will probably be able to see them once I start doing them, but for everyone else, they'll go live once I feel like I have more than enough stuff. That there's a good amount every week that can come out. That's what I tried doing. As much as I think some people think I just have nothing else going on. My life is super busy, like all of yours. So, getting to some of the stuff that I started doing, with rating the figures by 20 and then the pets, and I wanted to get to the vehicles with classified. I will still do that, but I got other stuff, unfortunately. I wish I could say this was a full-time job and even came close to paying some of the bills, but it does not. But anyway, so I did get those done. If you saw, I did get the Emma Frost figure in. It's Target exclusive. That is the diamond form. I kept calling the diamond edition during the video. Luckily, not too many people watched it, so nobody threw a fit. Although I did fix it in there, and I actually said that it was diamond form. I didn't want anyone yelling at me. You know how people get. We did have a busy weekend because I think I've talked about it before. I live in these townhomes, and I got asked to be on the association, which I didn't want to be. I never wanted to be, just due to the drama that I had already heard. So for 18 years, 19 years maybe, I avoided it. I finally said, okay, I will do it. My neighbor, she was vice president. And then I really got to find out all the drama and how bad it really is. And sure enough, the president stepped down basically because she didn't want to deal with all the stuff as long as she's been on there. And then her neighbor, who basically he was put on just to have a vote, he decides after he's doing all this, doesn't want to join in, help anything, and then says, I'm resigning too. So there's 5 people on the board. One person at the end of my unit. She's an 86-year-old woman who can't leave her house, who shouldn't be on it, who's just a miserable bitch. She refused to resign, so it went basically from 4 people that were handling everything, now 2, and now we got to figure that out. So drama in the HOA, I guess you could say. And again, reasons why I try to avoid it. So, but by the end of the term, not that any of you care, in what, like 14 months, because I don't plan on being it for that long. hopefully everything will be cleaned up and the next people that come in can run it like it's supposed to be. The fact that people are like the power hungry over 200 units. I, I, I'm telling you, man, there is drama in every walk of life. It's not just in the toy tubing world where there are certain toy tubers that drama is the only thing um, that can do anything for them in their channel. So drama is not the only thing that sells, um, not just in the toy community. But anyway, other than that, again, just kind of relaxed. I needed a decompression day yesterday for sure. I didn't do very much. Though I've been stuck on this. I go back and I start watching old TV shows I used to watch, and I've been stuck on Burn Notice. If anyone's ever watched Burn Notice, it's basically like it was a spy version of the A Team. I guess it's probably the best way to describe it, but it is just one of those guilty pleasures. It was on USA. USA used to make some awesome TV shows, and by awesome I mean awesomely bad. But I've just been watching that. Olivia hasn't been here, so no 90210. And then yeah, I watched the Marshalls, man, or Marshalls, which was eventually first Y Marshalls because it's Yellowstone. And we're talking about that over on the TV terminal with Adam Vale. If you're not watching Marshalls, it's not a Yellowstone. It is the typical CBS police type drama, whether it be Blue Bloods or what now is Boston Blue, CSI, Criminal Minds. It's basically Marshalls and their type of police drama just placed in the Yellowstone world. So don't watch it thinking it's going to be the next Yellowstone. It's basically just a couple characters, and they have a setting already built in, so it works for me, in my opinion. And I know Adam really likes it, and it's actually for that channel for what it's doing. The views does really well. So anyway, that was basically my weekend. If you notice, I pretty much I stay off of the YouTubes going live and stuff recently, unless there's somebody asking me to go on. I kind of stay away, other than maybe recording some videos, but that I can just do in the privacy of my own home, and I'm not in a rush. But anyway, let's get in. Let's say hi to everyone. 44 people watching right now, so please hit that like button if you haven't yet. It really does help the algorithm. It pushes things out. It tells you, hey, you know what? Someone really does watch this. Someone really does like it. Anyway, quickly to start off, we got Krusty Old Crow saying, "What's good, everyone?" GI Bro, who has the best guns in the business. We have Steve Martin saying, "Evening, people. I heard if you speculate too much, your palms will get hairy and could go blind." The blind part, I might be able to agree with. Joe ARH is here. SCS Dog, who somehow got banned. Now, he reached out to me and said, "Hey, I have not been able to post in the past, like 2 live streams. Is there something going on?" And I'm like, "I have no idea." And I went and looked and found out somehow he got banned from the channel. I don't know why. This guy's never done anything to provoke getting banned. The moderator's like, I don't remember him doing anything. So one way or another, we resolved that problem. MTC Collects has joined us. We have Tony's face saying, "My daughter loves Goodwill. What can I say? She finds absolute gems there. I find computer monitors." That is not a lie. I have been on the phone with Tony numerous times when he is in Goodwill. He has found those monitors, but he's always talking about how his daughter finds some awesome gems at Goodwill. So I would assume, quickly looking at this, man, Goodwill is 35 votes and 80% is Goodwill. So I'm assuming Tony went with Goodwill. Actually, I know Tony went with Goodwill. David R has joined us. Paul Morales. Look, here is myself asking, "Did you get your APWT crates?" We will talk about that shortly. As if I don't pimp it, who actually will. Sean Forrester, we have Matthew Matson, my first moderator, jumping in with his MCR Maza, Steve Martin again, who I already said. Gatey's Toys jumping in here saying, hoy, hoy. I almost got that wrong. Gun Bunny Customs. And then we have Ann Sketcher. I'm not sure if I got that right. ICT Vinny saying, what are we waiting for? Oh, here we go. I'm always running a little late. Hey, I'm doing it alone. I don't have to wait for any, I kind of come out on my own thing. So we got Kudos Garage. Mamu Mester saying, I'm not voting in the poll. You didn't put Walmart or Target in there, so I can't answer. Oh, but you can answer. Just answer how you really would. And then later on, I'll ask what you voted, Matthew, and you'll see why. Alex Martinez saying, hello, punk. Watching you from San Diego. You can't say San Diego, even though my daughter lives out there now. You can't say San Diego. The same after watching Ron Burgundy. Ronnie at Trickstop saying, I'm the Gooch. I'm sorry, Ronnie. I really am. Plastic Fantastics is here. We have here's Alex Martinez. We have 3-star draw saying y'all. It would have been nice to know that you were going to Toylanta, where I think that there was something specific that I was hoping for, but it's okay. I guess I'll find a better friend that maybe can get it for me or got it for me. Actually, I didn't ask anyone. Viper Scout, we have Todd C. Is there an in-between Gucci and Goodwill? I feel like I'm a solid Target Costco guy. From my understanding, there is not. You're either Gucci or you're Goodwill. That's all I have to say. Hi, it's me is here. Nolan, which makes us Toy Tube Official. We have Hella Geek jumping in here. I'm still holding you to doing Thursday with a friend. Possibly, well, it is obviously going to have to be after Joe Fest. I'm still holding you to it, Hella Geek. Just keep that in mind. We have Dan Olton. We have Derek Hoover, who I will be doing something for his channel this week. Please remind me if I forget. Please remind me if I forget. We have Debo DNA, who I still have plans to do more pictures with the water moccasin, 3D printed water moccasin. You guys all saw the video. I'm telling you, I know I've been doing pictures with other things. The idea that I have is probably going to be like, wow, that was so lame. But it's going to take me time to set it up. And I just haven't wanted to pull. Let's just say it has to do with me figuring out something with the NECA backdrop behind me. And it's just going to be a pain in the ass. Hi, it's me is joining us. Let's see. Is there anyone else? Katie's Toy says, I just watch porn for the plot. You and me both, man. You and me both. We have Evo Dookie jumping in here saying, Pumpkin Chat, I mailed out the stinger to you today, so be out on the lookout for it. It's going out UPS, which I mean, if it goes out UPS, I think they drop it off at the post office at some point. GI Jetman jumping in here. Snow Wolf. See, I put the L in there. People get mad when I don't say wolf. Cobweb, who, if you want to be second, if you want to watch the second reviewer to get the new Scare Glow out, he's the person to go watch. I, the G.I. Joe guy that I am, was able to get Scare Glow first. I think almost a full 2 weeks before Cobweb, but he was giving one away. I don't know if you've given one away yet, but check out his channel. He does a wonderful job, especially if you're in the Motu, which this is a huge Motu place. Tony's face jumping in saying Goodwill rocks. It does. It does. There's no every now and then you find some GI Joe stuff. I've actually found some stuff that I've never had before. I'm talking about the like a real American hero stuff. Every now and then you'll find it. Action fig saying, "I'm here. I'm here. Let's get started." If you're later than me, then we got a lot of problems. We'll just say that, Ed. Um, I think that's about it, man. I think we've oh wait, we have Soul Brother number one. Just jumping in here. Todd C says, I guess the middle class is dead. Punk confirmed it. I was not the one that confirmed it. I would just say that. US Combat Dojo. I'm not sure if I said him. Devil Dog. And then Beardy McBeardison. And there's a lot of people. I'm almost to the bottom, I think. I think it's almost to the bottom. There we go. Oh, and then we have Billy Butch Toys jumping in here saying, evening, boys. Woo! All right. That was a lot. But hey, when you got to get through 3 hours alone, you got to do whatever you can. Does that mean you have to rehash things? Do you have to talk about what you did over the weekend? It does. It does. But you guys keep coming back, which means you guys are a glutton for punishment, or I'm super entertaining. I'm so not entertaining. Anyway. Yeah, so like I said, this weekend, I spent a lot of time doing pictures. I feel like they're getting better, and I gotta say, like when people do give me compliments, especially the guys that are doing photography, it's like I'm so happy. Like it's such. There's not too many things that I get like. I feel good like when someone's like, "Hey, dude, like your stuff looks pretty good." Because I don't care. Like I'm taking the pictures no matter what. But I know like when I've had a couple times when Leanne when she has reposted my stuff, it's like I'm gonna tell everyone because she does such wonderful photography. And when she posts, like when she will repost it, you're like, hell yeah. And Ed's giving me a lot of compliments on it. Matthew will usually criticize everything that I do or tell me what I did wrong, forget to tell me anything I did right. But I know it's out of the love of his heart. Prophet jumping in and saying your pictures are getting better. Thank you very much. I think when your pictures are getting better when after you've done them and you post them, you start noticing things like, oh my god, because like in anything, you get tunnel vision, and you do something and you think it looks really good, and you're not paying attention to the pictures done. You post it, and then you're like, oh shit, dude, like I totally didn't even see this. That's when you get more in that mind frame of different things. And again, it can go with anything. You could be skateboarding and be like, oh man, dude, I looked at this and I thought it was so good, and now I'm like, oh my god, like what the hell was I thinking? So it's definitely one of those things, but I enjoy it, man. It's just if you would have told me if you would have told me a year ago, a year and a half ago, how time consuming doing like taking pictures is, I'd be like, bullshit. Like I quickly set some stuff up, but you don't want to always have the same background. It kind of goes to like, I'll do like eight classic reviews at once. You can't wear the same shirt every single time. So I'll literally have 6 or 7 different shirts downstairs just so people aren't like, why is he always wearing the same shirt? Like seriously, do we have to give him like super thanks just so some super stickers just so we can get new shirts? Like you don't, again, you might, I mean, the person doing it might be the only person that notices it, but it's one of those things where you're like, I notice it, and it's one of the things when I watch other YouTubers talk about it, and they're like, you want to have a change because you're going to do 3 or 4 videos at once. You don't want to have the exact same apparel on every single time. So it is. So when it comes to like doing these pictures, man, like I'll spend all this time setting stuff up. And again, if you're not using stands and you're trying to like pose them in certain spots, especially using that like fake grass, and it takes a long time. And then when one thing falls over, but anyway, I am enjoying it. That's the bottom line, is that I'm really enjoying it. Uncle Clutch jumping in and saying, "What's up in the chat?" I hope a lot of good stuff. Mendoza says, "You are your worst. You are your own worst critic. If the photo looks good after a night's sleep, and you know you got a goodie." I agree. I agree. I'll say I used to always say like any good photos that I did, thank the iPhone. I just happened to snap it at the right time. Um, I don't believe that anymore. Sometimes, again, sometimes I'll look at things like backgrounds. I'm like, how I need to make it more blurry, and I'll think to what like Toy Optics does, you know, or some of the stuff that I like. Ed keeps pushing out more, and you're doing all kinds of amazing stuff. Like, there's so many guys doing this, like fucking just awesome shit, and I'm like, how can I do it? And I'm not using a DSL camera or anything. I'm using an iPhone. I know a lot of people are like that's what a lot of people just use, but you're right. Like, but you're all again, it's like that with almost anything, right? Like you're your own worst critic, and again, I appreciate like all the help that anyone like has ever given me, but it really is a lot of fun because it's a whole new way to play with toys. Because I'm never gonna get on the ground and play with fucking toys, you know. Play with toys like you used to. It's not. It's a lot of fun. Cooking with Eric, jumping in and saying, "One shot, one take." Sometimes it works like that. Sometimes, again, sometimes I can take a picture in my display and be like, "This is perfect." And a lot of times, that's all that people want to see. Like, I have a couple shots. I have one, actually, I took two that I really like. And what I liked about them, and I haven't posted them yet. Now I have a couple more to post. What I liked about them is that you can kind of see there's like other things in the display, and it leaves that like, whoa, what the fuck? Like, what's the rest of his display? Like, how else do you have it set up? Uh, I kind of like that, but that's not like one with the background and everything. That's just a shot of like one or two people, three people, all kind of gathered together. However I want it posed. So, uh, I'm going on. Izzy Trevi, good evening. Here for the weekly PSA. Well, the weekly PSA is Gucci or Goodwill. Let's see. There's 67% say Goodwill right now out of 45 votes. So make sure you go over and vote on that. And then tune in tomorrow to the Circle of Jerks. We may talk a little bit more about Gucci or Goodwill. It's a theme going on. Anyway, to the whole pick thing that I really didn't plan on going down that rabbit hole, which I did. Yeah, I definitely do enjoy it. So, 54 people watching. I don't know how many of you guys watched Thursday with the Friend, but we got to talk a little bit about it. And I know you guys saw the stuff that we were dropping, the hints, and then the pictures, and this is the crates. Now, a lot of you guys probably remember the Hella Dope crates, the Hella Dope boxes, and everyone seemed to love them. And this was something I started talking to Random Diorama about quite some time ago. And we went back and forth. He sent me some stuff that like he just did. I always like the crates. And then we really got talking about weapons crates. And I wanted the weapons crates. Now, I love the ones that John from Top Fun Toys did, but there's something about these wooden ones. And what John did that no one else, and I'm not saying no one else has, no one else that I know of that has done, is they made it so the weapons could slot. Well, Radnam wanted to do that, and he 3D printed some slots so it can fit these weapons. Now, the weapons here, there was actually 5, and they were too thin. So he went back to the drawing board. He changed it so there's 4 slots. And you can see that there's 5 here. I could only fit 3 weapons in because it starts to push the housing. But that's all been rectified. So that's all set up. So you don't need to worry about it. If you haven't ordered them, here is a direct link to it. He has other stuff on up on his Etsy site. Please take a look at it. He does some awesome job. He does some awesome work. If you've ever watched his show, you've seen him making this stuff. Now, you know, and when I say we, myself, Matthew Matson, and Action Figs, Ed, we were given these boxes and we started dropping things over and over. You're absolute. Hey, if I don't show for my own product, who the hell is going to show for it, right? So we spent a lot of time. By a lot of time, I mean like a week and a half, and I love the way they look. Really happy. If you can see the serial number on it, it says, "I'm kind of a big deal." That was all. That was all Jonathan. That's Rednom. It was all his idea, and I love the way it came out looking because it doesn't say it across it. It is in like a serial number or a crate number, however you want to look at it. It's something that's a lot of fun. These go with so many different things. And again, if you're doing any type of different displays, type of photography, these work really well. And I wanted to show off the different sizes. Here was the boxes, which I still love the Hella Dope boxes. They still are perfect. The crate that he did, like he said, is too short. It fits weapons, but he wanted something so they didn't bounce around, and that was what we came up with. But there's also different inserts to it. So like this here, you'll see 5. There's actually only going to be 4 slots. They're sturdier, and they fit these XMLRs absolutely perfect. So, but yeah, I think you guys, if anyone is interested, check it out. You'll like it. And then here is a different set of boxes that you can get, and these have these different trays. And on the bottom is a long tray. There's a long tray. They all slide out, and they're not tight. That's what she said. They're not tight. They fit pretty nicely, but you can see all the photography. They fit with 1/18 scale, because I know there's some 1/18 guys in here. They really asked. I remember the Hella Dope Toys boxes. People were asking about those. Do they work with the 1/18th? They're boxes. They pretty much work with everything. So if you are interested, I want to see these in pictures. It's great to see my stickers, which I know more and more people are dropping stickers. I see them in the background. I love seeing that, but I want to see this in photography. And again, this is like professional. They're like professional things that you can drop out there. So if you are interested, I'd love to see more in the backgrounds of some of these pictures. Okay. Tony's Figs dropping a member for 30 months. So you get a
fucking Phil Collins.
Poor Phil Collins. I don't feel bad for Phil Collins. But just to get to, I love Elf. This Elf figure is way better than it deserved to be, and most people said the exact same thing. But here are Matthew's pictures, and yes, I don't care what he says. This poor steel core guy has some messed up arms because you can't reach back. I know I can't, but you also can only do so much with a figure. This one I loved, him breaking open the crate with the crowbar. Matthew told the story with this stuff. So, but you can see they work with so many things. And again, if I don't show for him, who's going to show? And here's some of Ed's pictures. All right. So if you are interested, head on over and help support. It's not even supporting me. It's actually helping support Random Diorama. I'm getting nothing out of it. I just told them I want my name out there. Like it's awesome to see it. It's awesome to know that it will piss some people off too. That also makes me happy too. Russell Lemieux says, "Is that Toy Gains? Random Diorama? I'm not sure if you're asking who's Toy Gains. It's not, if that's what you're asking." Tony says, "Matthew, don't ever break arms like that again." And Helligate says, lots of fun shots. Thank you very much. And again, they did a great job. And I know we did the same thing with the Hella Dope toys. Like, I know I was sent boxes and I was slowly putting them out there. Ed was sent the boxes. Frankie, Realm of Toys, he does wonderful photography too. But again, just really cool stuff. Also, if you don't know, in the description of everything, I sold another Circle of Jerks shirt. Only like 99 more to go to how many people are watching the show. I want to see you guys represented, man. That's something also that helps support the channel. So if you're interested, remember we have apparel, Circle of Jerks, Punk with Toys, all that other good stuff. So you guys, again, you guys have helped support this channel more than I can say, and I'm not here without you guys. Same with Circle of Jerks, same thing, man. It's doing 2 shows back-to-back days that seem to be well received and a good following watching. Without the support of bigger YouTubers and hanging off their tails and trying to piggyback off what other people did, that's what these shows have been made off of. So we appreciate it more than I can express. I'll tell you that much right now. Todd C says, I don't accept this as proper shilling until you call these crates a game changer. These are game changers, all right? Not only do they have a Punk with Toys on it, I'm kind of a big deal. When you open them up, they have different trays that you can pull out. Look at that, handles on it. Here's one, these little ones here. You can put little pistols, grenades, different things like that, all inside it. This is a true game changer, unlike any other crates that you have seen on the market. But you know what? We don't just have this style, all right? You might think, hey, you know what? That's actually pretty cool. I could throw my weapons in there. But we have these ones here, all right? This is the true game changer. We have so many of these XMLR rifles. We're never going to use them all. But imagine having shots with all these XMLRs just sitting in there at all times. You have them pulling them out. I did a picture just recently with Roadblock. He's like looking at him. He's like, man, they want us to use these laser rifles. Look, that is game changer. You know it. So if you haven't yet, head on over there. Random Diorama, his Etsy store. You want to go make sure that you have supported a Punk with Toys for these game changer crates. These are going to make your photography look better just by having them in there. I know you may not think so, but once you get this in there, it doesn't matter what type of camera you're using. You might have a flip phone. You might have a Razr phone. All right, I've seen some of these pictures. This just enhances it. This puts it to 1080p right away. So go there, get them, enjoy it. Game changer coming your way. Was that good? Is that I mean did that work for you? Hella Geek says, which Cobra rifles fit the crates best? I don't have any AK-47s by me. Jonathan showed them off what they look like. I would assume the AK-47s will fit in there. I'll tell you what, once I get the new style, I could probably do it on this too, is drop the AK-47s in there. Those ones that came with the Stinger drivers and the Cobra officers, which I know we have a whole bunch. I had more. I sent a whole bunch to Gun Bunny Customs. Anyway, they fit most of the rifles. The laser rifle definitely won't fit because it's way too short. Maybe Matthew can grab a couple and he can tell you. So the Valaverse AK fits good too. So if you have any of the Valaverse AK-47s, And if you do have any of the Valiverse AK-47s, remember those were way too big. They were not scaled properly. So they work perfect in a crate where you're never really going to use them. But they, like, that's the type of stuff. Like the XMLR is like, I think the crates of them just look perfect. But I believe you're a Cobra guy more than anything. So anyway, just buy some. And then I guarantee you that you have weapons that you're never going to use that you can throw them in there and you'll enjoy them. There is no doubt about that. What is this? We have Irish John. Hey, dude, greetings from Ireland. All right, now maybe Matthew's going to tell me that I'm wrong, but
wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You got to understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
I don't think I've ever seen you before. If I have, I apologize, but I do like to show some ash right there. Great to have you here. And greetings. I don't know. I think we've had some people from Ireland before. And like I already started talking with an Ireland accent. Billy Boys Toys. I sent out your stickers today, so they should be coming soon. Just remember that. Crusty Crow says, Punk, are the crates going to be around at Joe Fest somehow? Are you packing? So I'm going to figure out something for the Canadians. I don't really want to be walking around with them to sell them. But I think I definitely need to have some. And if there's a way to do it where you can just, pay Jonathan or random, and then have them sent to me, and then I'll drop them off and give them to all the Canadians or whoever. Again, if you're not from Canada, it doesn't really matter. To get them all to you guys. But I will try and have some for sure. And Matthew says the crates are made to order, so it takes a bit of time to produce. Message to choose different colors. Oh yeah, that is right. If you want a different color, because that was something that kind of got thrown in there after, because if people started asking those questions, they people wanted different color ones, and I think we came up with what? Blue, red, black, and green. No, wait, we didn't have. Matthew, do you remember the colors? You can ask for different colors for the inserts. I want to say blue wasn't. It was red, black, the OD green. I thought there was another color. Gray. That was it, gray. So if you haven't, you can ask him. You can suggest another one. Stu for lunch jumping in and saying flank steak over tube steak for sure. Hi, Ken. Yes, everyone say hi to Ken. I don't know if Ken is here, but we want to be sure that we say hi to Ken. How's our poll doing? Wait a minute, 72% for Goodwill. Yeah, okay. Red, gray, black, OD green. Blue was the one that someone had asked for, but he's like, I don't have any. So Tristan T jumping in here. All right. This week, Thursday with a friend, I will be having Bill Murphy, owner of Fresh Monkey Fiction, also part of Big Bad Workshop. He is the creator of Operation Monster Force, Eagle Force, all those other brands that you are seeing. So he was out at WonderCon this weekend. I'd asked, again, anyone that's done Thursday with a friend or knows, I try and have these set up literally months ahead. So I didn't even realize I didn't even realize that it was the week after WonderCon. So he will be on, and again, it is about his life, but we will definitely get into Fresh Monkey Fiction, Big Bad Workshop, where the whole Operation Monster Force. I'm sure we'll get into all of that during the conversation, but I'm looking forward to it. I've talked to him a little bit at Joe Fest. I've communicated him a little bit with him over email, but we've never really sat down and had a conversation. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting to know this guy a little bit more, to where maybe like we can chat a little bit more at Joe Fest. So looking forward to it. Downriver, I'm sorry, the Window Viper, say Bill Murphy. Nice. Yeah, no, I think it will be too. I think it's going to kind of go along the same lines as Ben Conroy from Skeletron, which I need another Skeletron hat when I go to Joe Fest. Please remind me if I forget. Devil Dog says, I'll be honest, I only said Gucci because I end up buying Gridiron gear or Valaverse gear for my Joes. If you consider that Gucci, if you consider Valaverse Gucci, I don't know what the fuck you're thinking Gucci is then. tiny little magazines. Anyway, that will be my Thursday with a friend this week. And like I said, we are doing Circle of Jerks tomorrow, and then we are doing a special missions for the fan stream. That will be at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So apologies to anyone that feels like we are stepping on their toes. There's just not enough time in the week to put stuff on where you're not going to step on someone's toes that you've gotten to know. It happens to me on Monday. People are doing shows against me now. People do it on Thursdays. Unfortunately, it's going to be one of those things when a special missions happens, and if you have a huge problem with it, you should probably go and tell the Joe team not to do Wednesday streams. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. That was my week. I took up 43 minutes of your guys' time, which I definitely do appreciate. But we're going to get into a little news, but I definitely need a break. And I think Tony's here. So Tony always likes to hear from the Moss Man. But we're not going to hear from the Moss Man. We're going to hear from this guy.
And now back to Cobra News Now.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have received word that our field correspondent, Scrap Iron, is on scene at Mars Industries, and he has interviewed a few eyewitnesses and forwarded those statements over to us as he tries to get closer for a better vantage point on the fire. So let's take a listen to these eyewitness statements and see if we can discover what has happened here tonight.
All right, so I'm out here just ripping this mini ramp that's made by Mars Industries. Don't ask, I don't understand why they sponsored it. But anyway, I hear this huge explosion, and I hear all these people yelling and screaming that this thing's on fire, and they tell me to call 911, so I call 911. We got the ESU police here, and we got the firefighters, and wait a minute, don't you work for Mars Industry and the Iron Grenadiers too?
Oh yeah, that's a wicked fire, eh? Good bonfire for burning the moose on. Kind of reminds me, it reminds me of the one that we did at Justin Bieber every year at Stratford Festival. Just as much smoke, big flame. We do that to keep Sasquatch away. What'd you do yours for, eh?
Yeah, how you doing? I was walking down the street, hanging out, minding my own business. About to sit down on the park bench here and just enjoy my meal here. I got a nice little delicious lunch made by my wife, my lovely wife. She's a great cook. Sometimes not the best, but listen. We all suffice, right? And I'm sitting here on the bench about to open up my lunch box after a long day of working with construction workers. If you haven't noticed, I got this hard hat on, right? And I'm sitting here chilling, and next thing you know, I smell burning. And I go, what was that? And then the explosion, the loud, boom! I'm like, oh, what the hell was that? What's going on? You sound like Aaron Judge cracked a home run. I'm freaking out. I look up, and Mars Industries is on fire. And I'm like, yo, what the hell is this? The building just blew up. It's on fire now. And no one can have any answers. Nobody has any answers. Next thing you know, the fire shows up, the cops show up, nobody knows what's going on, but damn things for sure, that building blew up. Now listen, I ain't no conspiracy theorist, but I'll tell you this, the owner of that building, he wears a metal helmet. Who's wearing a metal helmet? Just to do business. Something don't smell right, you understand what I'm saying? That building, that was an inside job. You can quote me on that. Thank you for having me on the news. I've never been on the news before. This is fantastic. I appreciate you. Thank you very much. And before we go, I want to shout out some people. My man Shane, my man Woody, my man Mike. I appreciate you all. Take it easy, guys. I appreciate you. I'm on the freaking news right now. This is fantastic.
Well, that was certainly something. So let's see if we can check back in with Scrap Iron and see if he's been able to locate Destro or the Baroness, find out the cause of this fire. Over to you, Scrap Iron. Scrap Iron. Scrap, are you there? Looks like we might be having some technical difficulties, and oh my God. Oh, I'm going to have to go over there now.
All right. There you go. I just need a break. 45 minutes alone. You need a little bit of break. Anyway, the topic today, obviously, we're going to be talking about some of the G.I. Joe reveals or the digital reveals, maybe some of the other stuff that popped out of nowhere, even though many of us have already found it at Walmart. It's kind of comical how they do that. We're talking about that, and then we'll be speculating on what might be shown this week, because again, I've gone over some lists, and I have no idea what's going to be shown, but I've talked about some of the stuff that's coming, and most of it has seemed to come to fruition because they keep posting more and more stuff that we had already discussed. So anyway, let's get into a little bit of news. There really isn't that much. I think we're going to start seeing a little bit more going into next month. Sean Forrester says, "Wait, do we have Motu news? We do not. If there was, I totally missed it. Unfortunately, hate to burst the bubble of anyone." Bobby Wold saying, "Showing up late. Did they reveal a G.I. Joe wearing Gucci or Goodwill? Not yet, but soon. Radnam jumping in here saying, Hey, Larry and chat. I knew the stream started from the orders coming in while I was washing dishes. Wait. Did you get some orders? Because I have no idea. Like I've told everyone, I'm not getting anything for this. This was something for Radnam because I want my logo out there. So did you actually get some orders? I want the answer to be yes. So please let me know, Radnam, if you've already started getting some. Grizzlehorn jumping in here. Woo. All right. So we have the Brandon Routh Superman. Superman Returns is not the greatest movie in the world. I still enjoy it. I still enjoyed Superman Returns. I feel it didn't get a fair shake for sure. What I loved about Superman Returns is Brandon Routh did an amazing job of becoming Christopher Reeve's version of Superman and Clark Kent. One of the things that bothered the shit out of me was Lex Luthor, but especially I forget the girl that played Lois Lane. She literally said, "Well, I want this to be my own Lois Lane." No, this is a direct sequel to the Donner cut of Superman 2. You're not supposed to try and reinvent the character. You were supposed to embody what that actress did. And for me, now again, maybe Kevin Spacey has something else on his mind. We all know about his issues that he's had. Look at this, random. Look at this. Yes, we just got 4 orders, some from multiples. Thank you guys. Please. Even if you don't do a lot of photography, please post pictures and tag a punk with toys in them, and I'm going to share them. I'm going to repost them. I am definitely looking forward to it. I'm definitely looking forward to it. Soul Brother says Superman Returns was not better than Man of Steel. I did not say that it was better than Man of Steel. That is not what I said. I just said it wasn't as bad as people make it out to be. And it was a fun movie and I enjoy it. I think Man of Steel is better. I'm not going to lie. Doesn't mean it's like saying, hey, that pizza's not as good as this pizza. You can still like that pizza and still think it's good. You just think some other pizza is a little better. And again, it was not a perfect movie, but there was enough to piggyback and do more. But unfortunately, that's how DC does stuff. Anyway, McFarlane is like, hey, we're going to give you a Brandon Ross Superman if you want one. Now, he's coming to an end pretty quickly, right? He has to the end of the year. And then yeah, it's done. And then it is full on DC. And I know Spec said the same thing. He has some faith after seeing the new Scareglow figure, but that articulation still doesn't give me great pause that it's going to be awesome articulation, but it's pretty good. And then here we have your Batman versus Superman, Superman versus Batman, or whatever it is. Dawn of Justice. Now, once again, this movie again, man, you have the two most popular superheroes. I know we're talking about movies when this is really toys. You have the two most popular superheroes, and DC couldn't figure out how to not combine them and blow a whole fucking wad combining and then throwing in, Wonder Woman and stuff. There's so much stuff that could have been done. And look at Matthew. Sometimes I think Matthew just says stuff to make people mad. I think Superman Returns is way better than Man of Steel. I really don't like that movie, but I like Corn Sweet movie even less. Matthew has some opinions. We have M. Hatfield, pink eyes for man. It's hard not to notice. But it just says like even a Kryptonian can suffer from a little, you do a little rim job, and sometimes you might end up with a little pink eye. But hey, it's all worth it. Hi, it's me says Scareglow articulation did lack in Punk's #1 spot, butterflies, but it's a lot better than most spots. Yes. I think that the articulation would not have been an issue if it didn't put on it how it's like the super articulated or whatever it is. Like maybe you don't want to put that on the box and a specific pose that it cannot be done. Anyway, this was the only McFarlane stuff that I had, if I am correct. Nacelle. Now I know most people are not too into they're not too into the Star Trek stuff, but I gotta say, whether you're into this or not, and I hate the scale, they're nailing some of these likenesses and the accessories. So this is the exclusive first look Dr. Leonard McCoy BioBed accessory. And it's showing you that it's 3 inches long. 3 inches wide, 9 inches long, 8.2 inches high. The cool thing about this is this can be used for a 118 scale figure. A 112 scale figure. I think the sculpt is really good. I hate that these are not in just your 6-inch figure. It's the scale that it should have been. I think more people would buy it. People would find some way to mix it with Star Wars. I know people have loved for years to imagine Star Wars and Star Trek combining and building a world, yet there's really no action figures to do it. They could have done it. And you look at this, and this is like, that is straight from the original series. The way the boots are, the way the pants set, awesome. Matthew says, I wish they used different articulation at the waist, and the scale is too large. The scale is, again, that is the biggest issue. We can all get over like Marvel Legends waist and stuff like that. But unfortunately, that scale, you cannot make it work. Look at all the accessories. You're getting the bed here. You get his phasers, the tricorders, all this stuff. And like, why can't it be to the proper scale? And again, if you were doing 1/18 scale, that's one thing, but doing a completely different scale, it ruins it for everything else. And I think a lot of people are not happy about that. Prophet says those nacelle original series Trek figures outstanding, but I agree, a bit too large for me. Yeah, and I think a lot of people say the exact same thing. Sean Forrester, the scale is too big. They're building dioramas with these. Can't believe they didn't go 112. Luckily, with some of these dioramas, you can fit 112 scales. But let's say you're buying them for G.I. Joe or Star Wars or Marvel Legends. You can't. Who wouldn't want to combine these, right? Like, at least I know I would. Joe RH says there's a special place in hell for those who mix Trek and Star Wars. Get the hell out of our land. I love the idea, man. I think the idea of mixing those two is awesome. But even just, again, having them in there, I think people would really enjoy it. Bobby Wold says, where are the generic red shirts? The ones I get sent out first in the whole hostile worlds they've never explored. I have a feeling he will do some. He's doing this for the love of it, man. That's what's crazy about it. And here's the exclusive first look. Build a bridge playset turbo lift with dedication plaques. So again, this is actually really, really cool here. It's like they're throwing this stuff out there and they're giving you the chance to build this, but the fact that it doesn't mix, and again, it would be different if they were doing a completely different scale, but they're trying to mix it in with what would be the most popular. And I don't think that Star Trek is popular enough for toys to support that. But man, if you could mix it in with other stuff, that's what makes, like we talked about with the police officers with G.I. Joe, it can be used with any 112 scale. Everyone needs police officers. So Toy Optics jumping in here saying Gucci, Gucci, goo. Once again, what is our poll at? 74%. 74% people are for Goodwill and a nice 26% for Gucci out of 65 votes. Make sure you vote, make sure you subscribe, make sure you like and do all that other good stuff. I guarantee you I don't have 65 likes. I have 52, so I'm pretty impressed by that. So anyway, Jada Toys. Now, this stuff came from WonderCon this week. So, no official pictures. So we're seeing some new Mega Man figures, and then some new Scooby-Doo figures. Now, again, I'm not into these figures, but I know a lot of people are. I know a lot of people were upset that Scooby-Doo wasn't in the first wave. It seems like Scooby-Doo should have been in the first wave, but in an interview that I believe Toy Optics actually did with June from Jada, I think it was his interview, he expressed that we didn't think that we were ready to get the articulation right for Scooby-Doo, and we knew we were going to get to it, so we held off not putting him out in the first wave. I actually appreciate someone giving an honest answer and saying, hey, instead of giving you something shit and then coming back later on, we wanted to make sure that we had it right. So it actually, to me, makes more sense. Clint Jorgensen jumping in here saying, Jada had the best booth display at WonderCon. I haven't, this is really the only booth that I saw. I totally was not paying attention. So whatever happened at WonderCon, I really have very little clue. I know BBTS, Big Bad Workshop was there and everything. So, anyway, here we get to see Scooby-Doo eating a sandwich. It'll be interesting to see how his articulation actually works. I mean, we can kind of see it here, but again, I don't think with a Scooby Doo, I don't think that you're looking for dog articulation because, I mean, he walks, he talks, he does all kinds of different things more than just a regular dog, right? So, you're not looking for the junkyard articulation. You're looking for something a little different. And giving you two villains, and calling them villains is kind of comical because there's really no true villains. But anyway, here is whoever this is. I remember watching Scooby Doo. I couldn't tell you any of the bad guys' names. Here is Buzz Lightyear, the early years, before he got a new uniform and everything. Toy Optic says, I was bummed that I had to miss WonderCon, but I saw the photos and Toylanta had better booths by the same companies, Jada aside. If only there was someone that could have gotten you a ticket. Did you ever think of that? Anyway. And Matthew says, Jada showed their stuff. Scooby has been a big problem. This version is a near final prototype because they are still having tolerance issues with the joints. And again, I would rather them, and again, I'm not collecting it. So to me, it doesn't matter. But for the people that are collecting it, and for anything that I'm collecting, I would rather, like when people get super pissed off that the HasLabs aren't here yet, even though they're not meant to be here yet, I would rather them get it right than ship something that the canopy is going to break. And they're like, hey, listen, we know that 25% of these canopies are going to break. We'll deal with those when it happens just to get this out. No, get it done to the best of your ability. Get it taken care of to the best of your ability. So, but anyway, here we have Mega Man. This is Proto Man. I don't know nothing about Proto Man. Here is Mega Man, the Gemini laser. I swear I know nothing about Mega Man. They are cool. I will say this. I know people have said, hey, you know what? Why don't you get some? They don't take up much space. I'm like, yes. Something that takes up little space still takes up space. And when you start buying lots of it, then you end up with a lot of little figures that take up a lot of space. And Tristan says Mega Man line looks great. I simply can't afford to go down that rabbit hole though. I'm with you. Like, I mean, my friends played this, so I saw Mega Man a lot. They look awesome. Like, there is no doubt about it whatsoever. I think they nailed the look of this. And here we have Snake Man. Again, have no idea whatsoever. And here we have the Thor jumping in. I don't know. Maybe Matthew will correct me.
Wait a minute. Oh, wait a minute. You gotta understand, man. I never even saw these assholes before.
Thank you very much. If you have been here, I apologize. I'll use since YouTube changed the names, it's hard to know who's been here before or not. I'm just going to say I wanted to play Bruce Campbell. Again, I have been watching Burn Notice, which Bruce Campbell is part of. I love Bruce Campbell. I still have a hard time believing he was a Navy SEAL. We'll leave it at that. But anyway, this was that was the Jada stuff. We get T-Hawk. Once we're done with this, Street Fighter. Matter of fact, I have the last Street Fighter that came out. I haven't even opened him yet. He's just sitting downstairs. Every review, you probably see him in the back when I'm doing my monologue on it. He's just sat there. I can't remember the last time I sat on a figure that long and haven't opened it. But I do think T-Hawk looks awesome. I mean, he's no Tatanka, but he does look pretty cool. Here he is in the box. Again, if you don't have any of the Jada Street Fighter figures and you're just mildly interested, you need to pick these up. These figures were so good, so much better than they deserve to be right off the bat. And quickly, the Thor says, I have been. I ordered the water moccasin you recommended. Well, thank you very much. And Devo also thanks you. And if you have it, please in the comments tell me what do you think of it. I know he had to, I don't remember if he already had some or he had to print them. But tell me if you have it already, what you think of it. Because seriously, it's so good. And here we have Zangief. Now, I was looking at this and I'm seeing Zangief, and all that I could think of was, I need a Wreck-It Ralph. All right, I'm not. Tell me I'm not the only person that said now I need a Wreck-It Ralph. That fits in with this, because again, if you don't know, if you haven't watched Wreck-It Ralph, you should. Those were fun movies, no doubt about that. Probably I'll tell you what, that's one of the big things that I will miss about my kids getting older is watching the kid movies that you probably wouldn't go watch on your own. Disney stuff I still will, Pixar stuff for the most part, and Olivia will always go. I can wait to have grandkids, but I was thinking about it, man. When I have grandkids, those kids are going to be so spoiled, it's not even going to be fucking funny. Gareth Widger, is that right? Jada Toys needs to make a big booty rainbow Mika. Is that I don't know. I'm gonna believe you on it. Stu for Lunch says you're a bad guy, punk. Doesn't mean you're a bad guy. Okay. And Thor says I posted a short review on Instagram. I did see it. I did see it. So I did. Yep. Hey, believe me, I see a lot of shit over the days. You know what? I appreciate it. Like I said, I know Derek appreciates it. And I'm glad you enjoyed it, man. Like I would not post and endorse something that costs that much money if I thought it was shit. So I'm glad to hear that you enjoyed it. And I do remember the review now, and you shouted me out. So thank you very much. Here's the Invincible figures. I didn't even watch the second or third season of Invincible. I watched the first season, maybe the second one. I don't remember. I really enjoyed it, and yeah, I never got into watching the rest of it. I thought this is not who you would think you would start with. You think you start with your typical Invincible, but they did not. This is kind of what Jada does. This is kind of what Super 7 tries doing, yet usually end up failing. But this is one of those ones where, like, I hope they go deep with this line because there's a lot that they can do. And I think people will enjoy it. People really do like Invincible. And it's something I need to go finish watching, watching it. But I had the time during the winter. Now it's getting warmer, and the last thing I want to do is sit in my house once it gets nice. But I'll get around to it because there'll be some rainy and some shitty days still. Anyway, I know we've seen these ones before. I do think they look pretty awesome, though. We got Just Jeff jumping in here saying evening. M. Hatfield says, damn, the conquest looks insane. My buddy offered to, he asked me if he wanted me to print, if he wanted me for him to print me one. And I was like, dude, I don't have room for it. I'm like, I don't have room for it. I mean, this Rattler is so big, and that Conquest is roughly the same size. I'm like, but I told him, like, you print one for yourself and let me see what it looks like, and maybe I will. But yeah. All right. So there they are in their little box. Marvel Legends. Now, there's nothing new here. What we do have here is the Archangel that went up for pre-order. I can't seem to find this on Amazon, so I don't know if it was an exclusive to everyone but Amazon. I know they have the X Factor one, which this is just a repaint of it, but it does give you a few other things. I think I did order it from BBTS. I've always loved Archangel. Not Angel, but I always loved Archangel. I love Angel, the TV series. Just not here. But yeah. But yeah, this is one of those ones where it went up. I know a lot of people liked it. A lot of people wanted it. And I was busy as hell that day, so I did not post any links to it. But check it out. It is available right now, but not on Amazon, which is odd. Irish John says, I have all the Diamond Select Invincible figures except Invincible himself and Omni-Man. Jada is killing it. I have all the Street Fighter figs. Yeah, like, I'm not even a Street Fighter fan, and I have all of those. All the ones that have hit the stores. Almost. Well, I don't have all the colors. I actually walked away from Blue Guile. I finally seen him now a couple times at Walmart, which is odd. He was a Target exclusive. Now I believe he's the Walmart exclusive, and I've actually walked away from him a few times because I'm kind of done with it. I just want to complete that series. But I think anyone that knows how much I collect knows, like, yeah, sometimes you gotta scale back. Anyway, if you want this, it is available. It's at BBTS Entertainment Earth. Hasbro Pulse has it up. Amazon's the only one that I wasn't able to find it. So anyway, but I think it looks good. This is one you're definitely going to need a flight stand for it. Definitely going to need a flight stand for that. All right. And I know people said like the tuner fork. This is what a lot of people like because now they can put it up there and not take up a whole boatload of space. I'm with them, but let's be honest, man. Having the big giant wings, for me, that is what I really enjoy. That's why I love the gargoyles, man. That's what I absolutely loved about the gargoyles. Everyone else bitched about the wings. I'm like, I love the fact that the wings are huge. And when people complain that, you know, it's hard to pose them or put them up, I'm like, dude, you bought them knowing these wings are huge. But anyway, here's everything that you get. Like I said, it is available. If you want it, go get it. It is X-Men 97, although he's not in it. But it goes with all the animated X-Men. That's what 97 is. Woo, Fresh Monkey Fiction. Now, I'm not collecting these, but I know a lot of people are probably going to be into this. And this is the Tick figures. If I remember correctly, this is what his sidekick. Actually, I have no idea what his name is. And I'm sure someone in the comments can tell me. But I did see that this was shown off at WonderCon. They had the regular Tick, which is available. And they also had the exclusive where he was with a surfboard and everything. Arthur, according to Sean Forrester. So I will believe him because then Bobby Wald also said that. And then Tristan T said Arthur. So I'm just going to believe you that it is Arthur because not that many people can be wrong. Actually, a lot of people can be wrong. I watch what some of you guys watch. A lot of you guys are wrong. But again, they dropped this. I think we all know that they're going to go pretty deep with the Tick. It has such a cult following. It's nothing that I've ever been interested in, but I will definitely, you know, cover this stuff as not only is it, you know, Big Bag Workshop / Fresh Monkey Fiction. I still can't figure out what their actually is. I'll be interested. I'm really interested to ask Bill Murphy, like, where is the line drawn? You know, I know the Eagle Force is, Fresh Monkey Fiction and, you know, Operation Monster Force is like a mix, but I'm interested because to me, it really seems like eventually Fresh Monkey Fiction will be just completely gone. But anyway, here you go. If you are interested in Arthur, he's going to show up and you'll be able to order him. Mr. DeMark saying, I finally managed to get my hands on a classified Pythona just said about the eBay price. Globulus is next on my Cobra Law. Is complete, done. Well, I can tell you this: when they do Globulus, there is no way that they're not going to produce new Cobra Law. The that Royal Guard is meant to. They're meant to do some repaints with that. So I just have this sneaky feeling that they will be introducing more Cobra Law to create more of a universe with it, and they should. Like, there's the whole point of having a toy line, a toy brand, is that they should be doing more. They should be producing more and showing stuff off. So I hope they create new characters. I would say create better characters than Cobra Law. Just my opinion. All right. But there he is with his weird bug eyes or whatever. I don't know what Arthur is. All right. On the G.I. Joe. Man, we got through this stuff pretty quickly because there wasn't a lot of news to get through. Irish John says, dude, may I ask, are you originally from the Philippines? Nope, I am from Detroit, Michigan. I have actually never had anyone ask if I'm from the Philippines. When I was younger, I did have people ask me if I was Chinese because they felt I had squinted eyes. I am Mexican and Italian. So, but I don't have a problem with someone asking me. I don't take offense to it. I hope it didn't come off like that. But that is the first time I've ever had anyone ask me if I'm from the Philippines. And you can't even see how short I am. Then it may really seem like I'm from the Philippines. Anyway, G.I. Joe, a real American hero. Stu Lynch says, Detroit is the General Santos city of the Great Lakes. And Sci-Fi George, he is also from Detroit. Well, now Sci-Fi George, luckily he's not saying, dude, you're not from Detroit. You're from Clinton Township, right? Like, George knows this. Like, if you are in the Tri-County area of Detroit, if you tell people you're from Detroit and you're not from Detroit, Detroiters will absolutely lose their fucking minds. They will lose their fucking shit, man. Hell, I even watched it when a couple of the Brits came here. They do a YouTube channel. Josh and I forget what the other guy's name is. But anyway, they came here and they said they were, in Detroit checking out Jet's Pizza. And the comments were like, actually, you're in St. Clair Shores. Like, shut the fuck up, dude. They're like 3 miles outside of Detroit. They're in the Detroit area. If you tell people you're in fucking St. Clair Shores and sorry, I'm going off on a rant. You tell people you're in St. Clair Shores, Michigan, people are going like, where the hell's that at? Oh, we're right outside of Detroit. People are going to say, why don't you say Detroit? Anyway, whoo. Okay. That's it. Like, and again, I would never tell someone, and George, you know that I would never tell somebody in this area that I'm from Detroit. But if I'm talking to a vast world of people that know, if you say Michigan, they think Detroit. You're going to tell them, hey, I'm from Detroit, right? Because if I say I'm from Mount Clemens, I live in Mount Clemens, they're going to, where the fuck's that at? 8 miles out of Detroit. They're going to go, why don't you say Detroit? Exactly. Matthew and I have talked about it. He's from Dallas. He's not really from Dallas. He lives outside. Woo! All right. Let's get into this. So this dropped. So this was kind of like the this was kind of like the police officer, right? We saw that they were doing this. They did show the digital renders of it. And then all of a sudden, I know Bobby B got it, but then they started showing up at Walmart. And only one person posted from Walmart. And the picture that they took just happened to have the QR code. So I started going into these Walmarts and asking them to scan the QR code. And they started populating that they were showing up like, oh, we have 6, but And they kept going in the back. Like almost every place went in the back for me and looked. And, you know, they couldn't find them. They're like, yeah, these are just coming in off this store. Finally, I found one place that the guy went in the back, brought out all 6. I didn't buy all 6. I bought 2. I'm not buying 6 for $43 each. Nor would I have bought them even they were like $30. Would I have bought 6? I would have bought 2. And I kept telling everyone, I'm like, dude, just scan the code, ask them to scan it, and ask them to go in the back. Be polite. The exact same thing that I told people about the Royal Guard at Target, right? You know, if you're nice to these people, most of them will gladly go in the back and look for you. Not everyone. And again, it's not their job to go hunt for a fucking toy. First off, let's just get that straight. If anyone's watching, it's not the fucking employee's job to go in the back and hunt for a toy for you. All right. They have other things to do. Hopefully they're gracious enough to go in the back because you've treated them nicely. But you can thank Hot Wheel people. You can thank the G.I. Joe people, the way they acted during the Cobra Island stuff. And you can thank the fucking Pokemon people. They have ruined it for collectors. I'm just saying that. But anyway, these were at Walmart. They finally dropped all over. BBTS had them. Amazon, Entertainment Earth, even Hasbro Pulse. They all had them up and ready to go. I will just say this. So I put it out on Entertainment Earth and Amazon. And to all you lying fuckers that said I'm not going to buy any of these, not at 43, you're all full of shit, because I can see how many sold, and just through the links that I put out, which was actually after they all started populating, I think at least 70 of them were bought. So I don't want to hear that I won't pay the $43 because many of you will. I'm included in that. All right. So I'm not throwing shame at people for spending it. I did it too. I just kind of have to laugh when people say, you know what, I'm not buying this. You know, I'm not going to buy it. I'm done. I'll wait for RossCon. Well, good luck. I hope RossCon doesn't give you shit. All right. Anyway, Toy Optics says I'm entitled. They owe it to my Gucci ass to get in the back and get my shit. They should feel thankful. I do hear that if you constantly call over and over and over and over, they will eventually ban you. That's why you have to ask. They're there. The tags are there in Walmart though, for that and the Royal Guard. They're both sitting right there. Believe it or not. So they are there. Anyway, if you are interested, pick it up. Again, I posted a link. It's Amazon, so you can go get it. Again, they're good figures. $43. It's a high price point. I'm not going to lie about that. Especially when you can go buy, you can pick up, this guy, the Phantom Core from Operation Monster Force and BBTS for $40. You're going to get a very similar, loadout. You probably get actually more weapons with this, but no one really wants to FAMAS. So no one wants to FAMAS. So that's a wash. But you do get the RPG, which RPG is actually pretty good, except the blast effects don't work in it. So that's disappointing. But yeah, if you are interested, these are available. Walmart has them. They're pretty red. I mean, I keep seeing more and more. I've seen a bunch of them when I've gone into some of these Walmarts. Here's the other thing that I don't think, at least it looks like to me, it looks like Walmart and Target, whatever Hasbro is doing, they have somehow pushed out that they are pushing out a lot of these 6-inch figures, G.I. Joe, more Marvel Legends, more Star Wars. I know it's not Hasbro. The He-Man stuff, the Master of the Universe, all this stuff is starting to pop up. It's all starting to populate there. So there is another push for the 6-inch figures. And this is the stores that have not had a G.I. Joe figure in 2 years. So just be on the lookout that I have a feeling we're going to see a little bit more of it, which makes everyone happy, I think. Sean Forrester says, man, the $43 is what is turning me off on this one. I didn't mind the Royal Guard for the same price for some reason. Must be the reuse. I think when you look at what the Royal Guard gives you, the big buck, I think people can go, okay, I can get it, because this one can only be reused for so many things, right? The Royal Guard can only be reused for so many things. And I think the other thing that really shocked people was they jumped from the $35 price point to 40 up to 43 really quick. It was kind of like the $22.50 price point. Does anyone remember the $22.50 price point, or was it $22.99? There was a really, really, really short 6-month period where the figures went from $19.99 to like either $22.50 or $22.99, and maybe even $21.99, and then just jumped up to $25. It was a super, super short window. But yes, just they did the same thing, and we're already looking at a high price point. And when people are comparing, explain the $35 price point of Budo and everything that he comes with, and a $43 price point of this guy, and showing everything. Yes, it is like, okay, well, one came out earlier before they had adjusted the price points, but at the same time, that's an $8 jump. I can't be mad at anyone that is saying, hey, why the hell is there this jump here? You know, you hit 40 and then you went right past it. Almost like, hey, you all said you won't play 40. Fuck you. We'll see if you'll pay 43. And again, it's not just on Hasbro, right? Hasbro sets the MSRP because they also have, you know, every other company still has to, you know, they have to make their money. But guys like Sergeant Reds, they have to charge you even more because they have such a little markup with this that it's crazy. We got Mike Gold jumping in here saying, all right. Super Devin just jumping in here saying, I just got this guy. He's going to be great with hit and run on my shelves. You know what's funny? And I saw someone post a picture with hit and run, or maybe someone even made a comment, and I was like, I didn't even think about using him with hit and run. But again, these are really good figures. I do like them. I've had a lot of fun with them, but I do have an issue with the price point. I'm not going to lie. Plastic Battles jumping in here say, wait until it goes up again because of the clusterfuck war. Well, let's hope not, but let's be honest. We are already seeing the effects of everything that is going on. Sci-Fi George says Hasbro and BBTS need to lower the prices for their troopers. Hasbro used to do that. Valiverse is the main one now. And I have my feelings on that one. BBTS has nothing to do with it. You know, BBTS, they have to, you know, again, there is an MSRP and they have to make their own profit. So if Hasbro is charging a certain price point, you know, again, there is a lot of different, there's so much different labor that goes into it that we never see, the buck that doesn't get passed on. So BBTS, sometimes you'll see that extra dollar for some of the figures. You don't see it normally on a higher price point figure because they realize, hey, it's already high up there. It's hard enough to sell it. But we have seen it with BBTS, and I think they've actually cut back on it. 3 Stars says, I like this figure, but not enough for $43, knowing damn well it's going to be on clearance in a few months like all the 60th Legacy figures do. There's not enough coolness here for me. Again, all I know is that people continue to say that, and eventually it's not. And from my understanding, I believe it's the Halo jumper. What's the Halo jump? I don't know. I know the infantry has jumped up tremendously in price. So you never know. You know, you think it, but you never ever know. So just be careful, just be careful what you try for, Darren, because there comes a time where everyone thinks this, and next thing you know, yeah, oh shit, we never saw this. Baldy Locks jumping in saying, a punk that shills, well, since you talk about shilling, hold on one second. Have you guys gotten your APWT, a Punk with Toys crates? It is a game changer. You can see here, you take pictures. It has a Punk with Toys. It is real wood made by Random Diorama. On the inside, look at this. It has different little pieces that you can pop out, hold weapons in it. They all slide out really nicely, easily, and they also have, look at those little slits for your hands. These are great for dioramas. They're great for pictures. And you can also get these ones right here. Look at this. Punk with Toys. We all have 100 XMLRs. These are game changers, guys, right? Look at that. XMLRs has slots. The final production has 4 slots. XMLRs fit in there absolutely perfect. You're going to want to pick these up and put them in all your pictures. This makes your pictures look better. You don't even have to do good photography, and it is just there. This is called a game changer. And look right here. Well, here's a link for it. You're going to want to go pick these up. Random Diorama. That's his Etsy store. Go have a blast with it. If you weren't watching earlier, you probably didn't get that. I'd say I'm not that big of a show, but I am. Cal Shave jumping in here say, wait until we get $52 figures with a Bobcat or Coyote to justify that price. It's happening. It's definitely happening. Oh, look at this. Tony just dropped a hit and run video. What do I fucking say? You don't promote your own shit on someone else. No one came to this stream to wonder if Tony is dropping a shill video with gridiron stuff on his hit and run. I'm just saying. Tony, you get a free pass. Wait a minute. What is this? Gareth Widger says, holy crap, there's an ice cream truck blasting Metallica cruising down my street right now. Those are truly my favorite comments, ones that have absolutely nothing to do with anything. The Baldy Lock says, well played, Lawrence, well played. Those crates are cool. Wait till I have to stop tomorrow, the Circle of Jerks, to promote these game changer Punk with Toys crates. You're going to absolutely love it. And you're going to give me the full screen when I'm doing it when there's like 150 people watching. Anyway, that I need people watching right now. Please hit that like button. And also make sure, tell me, are you guys for Gucci or Goodwill? We got 78 votes. 74% are for Gucci. That doesn't bear well for some people. I'm just going to say that right now. Anyway, how much is the Cobra Raptor guy? Raptor was 35 at the time, if I'm correct. And no, those price points will eventually reflect differently when their stock is sold out. So the figures will eventually go up, just so you guys know. So all those other figures, like that's what they were set at. Target had the same thing. And the reason why I remember the $22 or the $22.99 price point was because it was while we were waiting for the Python Patrol figures. And they were all $2 cheaper than everything else because that was their original price that they bought them at. So it never got changed in the system because that was reflecting of what their profit margins were. Eventually, when those stocks actually sold out and they brought them back into stock, they went up. So that's the reason why I remember that. Anyway, now that I am done shilling, I should do a commercial. It'd be a lot easier. I could just hit it and be done with it. But anyway, these figures are cool. And I'm actually kind of hoping that they never go to Ross, and I hope people miss out on them because I like hearing the crying about people who didn't get something that they wanted, but they weren't willing to spend the money. That makes me laugh. Anyway, so there you go. They're a lot of fun. If you want them, go out and get them. All right, on to the digital renders that were shown off out of nowhere. Just here we go. Here's 5 digital renders. We are getting 3 retro carded figures. I had heard nothing about a Techno Viper. We already know we have a Techno Viper, and he's very classic looking. But here we have the back explosion, so we know that this is supposed to be on the retro card. All the exact same accessories. The one thing that I did notice he is missing is his little heads up display, which he's gonna have holes for it. Why wouldn't you give that translucent heads up display? That's one of the coolest things, whether it be on this guy or the one that comes with the HMS, right? So this is one of those things where, hold on quickly. I'm not sure what they're talking about here. I just see Matthew says, hopefully Walmart doesn't cancel your order. You know, if you ordered the, if you ordered the retro carded Duke and you're a total douchebag that you already went and sold it on eBay, I pray that your fucking order gets canceled and you get fucked over for trying to fuck other people over. Because I'm telling you right now, and I don't care if you're watching, if you are one of those people that pre-orders something from Walmart, Hasbro Pulse, and then you turn around and flip it before you have it in hand, I have no problem with someone having something in hand and making money off it. But if you fucking order something and you turn around to fucking sell it, you are a fucking douchebag. End of story. That is a full-on fucking scalper. And I hope to God every fucking time you get fucked over on it. That's all I have to say about that. Hey, 610 Yojo Daddy. What's up, punk? What's up, fellas? Y'all smash that like button and subscribe. Yeah. So, and I mean it, man. Like, those people are almost as bad as figure swappers. You know, you might as well be a fucking figure swapper. You know, because you're fucking people over. And again, when you have something in hand, if you ordered 10 things from fucking Walmart and you know what? Other people had them canceled, but you have them in hand and you can get fucking $100, 150, 60. I don't give a shit. If you have it in hand, you are more than welcome to sell it for whatever you want, but you do not fucking turn around, pre-order something and fucking sell it. It's just a total douchebag move, man. It really, really is. Just Jeff says, good to know you feel so strongly. I do. Like, again, I don't have a problem. You have it in hand. You want to sell it, go for it. But man, don't be that guy. Don't be that fucking person. TC jumping in saying $10 more for a retro card Techno Viper. Sweet deal. Is it? They weren't $20, were they? Well, no, they're $28, so they're not. They were $25 to begin with. Anyway, here we have the retro card. Now, I saw again. So this is the type of stuff, and Darren, I know I bag on you about this, and I know I say this shit to you a lot. Where'd you post it? You said something about like what a waste of a retro card. Now, this is the fucking problem. Everyone wants a new fucking mold, and they're giving us lots of new molds. The way they do that is by repainting stuff, and army builders are probably the best thing. Repainting stuff and putting them out there for people that may not have them or want something that's a little bit different. So it's not a waste of it, because saying that it's a waste of a retro card is acting like they're not giving us anything else. You know, when they only give us repaints, and this goes for any company, then that's when you can start complaining and being like, you know what, they're not giving us anything new, but they are giving us new stuff. If anything, this allows you to walk away and not purchase something. Just my 2 cents on it. Lost Ranger says, early days of Joe Scalping when Classified came out was terrible. You're absolutely right. And some people absolutely love it. And again, if you have something in hand and you want to get money for it, go for it. I have no problem with it. Baldy Lock says, I buy truckloads of exclusives at a time and don't even sell them. Yes, we all saw your picture of the El Camino. Jamie Garcia said, "Yep, what Punk said." And again, Sean Forrester says the original Techno Viper is on discount. Punk. Oh well, again, but the MSRP is actually $25. So, and I recently picked one up because I needed a second one just because. But anyway, I fully again I understand what people are saying, but at the same time, this is how a brand increases their budgets. There will be people that buy it, and if you don't want to buy it, you don't have to. That is the way. That is the way that you speak to companies. Like, hey, we're not going to buy this, but I guarantee you, people will buy it. We have Triple D saying, but why couldn't the Techno Viper be a rate? Okay, just I think people think like just because they did one doesn't mean you're not going to get the other. There is no doubt that we're not going to get another Range Viper. All right, they've had that mold going for the what was the one that they did? The Grim Viper. So people will get another Range Viper. That I can almost promise you. And then 3-star says, I'll buy this anyway. Maybe not to open, but it's a Techno Viper. I love Techno Vipers, but I didn't need it. If I get this and it's got a 3-star engraved in the back, I'm suing. It won't. Anyway, Jeremy Kimberlin did a pretty good job. He kind of posted these together. So this is the differences. Now, the purple is going to be slightly different. The rifle is gray, which is what the original colors were. This is what I don't understand. This is a retro version. All the weapons should be gray. And you can see that there's some silver up on top on the piping. So there is a slight difference. It doesn't have the heads-up display, which doesn't make any sense. And they give you a stand, which you don't need because this figure stands perfectly fine without a stand. Yeah, and they did the 788 Viper too. You're absolutely right, TC. Like I said, they're going to give that to people. Those Walmart exclusives, we know it's bothered a lot of people because not everyone got them. So there's no doubt in my mind that they will eventually come back. And I have no problem with it because I only got 2 Range Vipers. So I wouldn't mind a couple more. I don't need more, but I would buy them. Hi, it's me says, I once pre-sold a baby on my girl's miscarriage. I got screwed on that deal. Cover pays. It's still not as bad as Baldy predicting Britney Spears would be dead by the end of the year, but it was in poor taste, and I love it. All right, here we have a retro grunt. I don't want to hear anyone complain about this because I've heard so many people bitch how grunt wasn't OG enough. Now, I will say this: I don't know why you didn't just create a regular M16. But, I'm not a big fan of the scope on it, but it's fine. I mean, I'll survive. He does have the XMLR. I think this is actually really good to throw in there. I don't have a problem. And I've talked about it. When you do an OG figure, when you're doing the retro figures, they should have very close to what the original figures had. Even if you have to take something away from another figure or wait on another figure, because you are the one saying we're doing retro figures. You can see the helmet is more classic. He still has the same backpack, but they gave him different web gearing, taking away the type of plate carrier that he had. He really does look like the retro grunt. And I think people are going to like this. Now, here it is side by side. He also doesn't have the steel core helmet, which I'm fine by. I think people have kind of grown annoyed. I've already heard people talk about how, like, I'm just gonna make my green shirt a retro grunt, and Like, my God, dude. Like, all right, well, then stop bitching. Stop bitching that you need the OG13. Or the people that said, we still haven't gotten these ones. We don't have Grand Slam. Don't worry, it's going to come. We have Grand Slam? No, we don't have Grand Slam. We don't have Flash. Like, they're coming. They have Flash's weapons. Like, you don't think they're going to do Flash. But yeah. I'm good with the $8 classified grunts I got. Weren't they $12? Either way, they were cheap. I remember that. And Debo says you're asking too much of you. You're right. Derek, that's on me. That is on me. I am asking too much of people for sure. And 3-star says you are 100% correct, Punk. Everyone complains so much about Grunt being modernized. They do. And again, like, I'm not even trying to be a dick about things. Like, I can't because I'm kind of being a dick about things. I've been a dick now for about past half hour when I got on people fucking selling shit they don't have in hand. Anyway, I have no problem having more of these. And there's a lot of people, and I think Tony, I think you're one of them, where you only want like one figure in the case, right? Like one figure, like one version of that character. Maybe you may have a couple. I don't have a problem. I have different displays going on. I don't have like one big display. So I don't have a problem having multiple versions of a character. That's how I set my stuff up. Everyone is everyone's going to act a little bit differently, or not act differently. Everyone's going to display things a little bit differently. I don't have a problem having multiple setups. I mean, that's how my stuff is. So it doesn't matter to me. I like having multiple versions of each character. So here we have Wild Bill. Now, I was one of the people that thought like, hey, you know what? My understanding is that this is going to be the Sunbow character, or the Sunbow version. We were wrong. This was one that we kept seeing. There's a slight difference between them. The greens are going to be a little different. The belt is the same. Now, what they did was, and you can't say they didn't do this on purpose. You can't say they didn't do this on purpose because everyone noticed, like, well, the steer is on the back of the belt, but if you turn it around on the HasLab one, it's a cross draw. They knew exactly what they were going to do. They were going to re-release this one. They turned this around. So now what is the front of the belt is now on the back and the steer is on the front. From looking at this, it looks like they're not giving you the extra hat that doesn't have the hair. They're still giving you the hair. He doesn't have the brown gloves like the HasLab does. And again, he's also on a retro card. So anyone that's a completist is still going to want that HasLab one. I understand the figures. I really do. And I do think as long as they don't make the exact same figures, but I also don't have a problem. I think, again, there's hundreds of versions of Wolverine. You can do different versions. But if you're a completist, then you're going to want them all. And I'm not collecting for money. Do I have a problem when I have a figure that's worth $100? No, I'm happy to have a few figures that are worth $100. But I also don't get mad. So this is a way so everyone can have Wild Bill. He is slightly different. I feel like from what I can see, the HasLab one actually has more paint apps to it. He has different piping on him. So he is going to look different. Plus this flight suit is, again, they have to reuse the flight suit. So we're going to see it a bunch of times. But I have no issues at all. Todd C says the guns here are painted. I believe the guns are painted on the HasLab one, aren't they? Or are you saying they're painted a little bit different? Billy Boy's Toy says, I would be okay if they did a retro Serpentor without the air chariot. There will be another Serpentor. There's no way they're not going to do that, right? They did Dr. Mindbender, all in good time. And if you don't think that the team knows exactly what they're doing, I mean, some people can say that they don't know shit, but they know what they're doing, man. They know exactly what they're doing. You want to drag this out. You want to keep this line going. You want people waiting to complete something, and then you give them stuff that they say they don't want. If they gave everyone the OG13 right away, then a lot of people would leave the line. But a lot of people are sticking around. They're like, hey, once I'm done with the OG13, I'm done. But then you start getting new figures and you're like, you know what? I actually really like this line. I like this. I'm going to stick around. That's the whole point that this line survives. Anyway, that's your Wild Bill. Now it comes to the Despoiler. And this thing is a beast. And I have an original one. Just going to say that. Anyway, this is a mid-range. This is a mid-sized vehicle. My guess is we're looking at anywhere from $75 to $100. Again, the All Striker started at $100. It's $110 right now. My guess is this is going to be $100. Anywhere from 75 to 100. Again, with the tariffs, the war, and everything, it's hard to say what these prices are going to be. My biggest issue when it comes to this is that when prices do go down for making the stuff or tariffs, companies like this do not reflect those prices. They continue to go up. And I've said this before, until they kill the line and bring it back, they leave those prices at that point. And I think a prime example is Motu Origins. They have gone up and gone up and gone up. There's that Skeletor that's sitting on the shelves now. New Skeletor, he's $10. And he looks to have the exact same articulation as the Origin Skeletor. And I'm like, why is he $10? These other ones were never $10 even to begin with. So Clinton Jorgensen says, Punk, did you talk about Michigan in the final? I didn't. I'm not a big college basketball fan. I'm happy that they're there. I hope they win. But unlike when Michigan football was playing for the national championship on Monday, if Michigan ends up in the finals, I won't be distracted. I'll be paying attention because I want them to win, but I won't be distracted like that. But anyway, this looks very similar to what the Despoiler was. It's not going to be huge. It's again, to me, wider than the Air Chariot. Now, here is the Destro. Now, I know, this got leaked, and I was told, I was asked not to talk about it, and I didn't. But this is what I can tell you, that this is exactly what was shown to me. No one else mentioned this screaming head. This is what I saw. It was one of the things when I talked to the person, they said, you know what, this might get costed out. From my understanding, I didn't see it, but the retro female Crimson Guard was supposed to also have an unmasked head, but that got costed out. People think it got costed out for the backpack. So when this was being shown to me, this and the Despoiler both, everything was there. And, looking at this, it's surprising we haven't had another Destro. They gave us the Prophet Director Destro. Then we got the retro carded one. Hell, that was 4 years ago. And then it was the exact same buck. I'll say it again. Pins or not, that Destro is such a good figure still to this day. But it is time that they go back and redo the classic Destro with new modernized buck and everything, in my personal opinion. But Iron Grenadier won, and I was so happy to hear this. Happy to see it. Now, again, here we are. You're getting his sword, his sheath that goes with it. The sword was never supposed to go through the shield. That was reported by Destro is my spirit animal. That's what he was told. That is, again, this is exactly what I had seen when the person showed me, and I never had it. Like, he wasn't going to send it to me, and I fully understand that, because unfortunately, people get these leaks and they run with them and they tell everyone everything that they know, right? So I had no problem just kind of sitting there, but once it went out there, I even talked to the person, said, "Hey, I hope you don't mind that I talked about it." And he was like, "Hey, dude, once everything was out there, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, because now it's out there." But the one thing that was never reported was the screaming head. And I talked about that. I said, the one that I saw had a screaming head. Hopefully it doesn't get costed out. But he does have the big giant sword. I would say that this is, I mean, again, this is not supposed to be for use. No one but Conan the Barbarian is running around with that. And you see that they're going with these kind of revolvers, more of a classic look, in my opinion, that is supposed to be more like a classic look. But I am super excited for this. I've always liked Iron Grenadier Destro and never had one. And then I ordered one when I got back from Assembly Required, because I knew that he was coming. And I'm like, you know what? It's about time to actually get one in my collection. So I am excited for this one. I think it looks good. It really does look good. 3-star says, I do wish we'd have gotten the unmasked head rather than the screaming head. I know what you're talking about. Okay, so this is what I gotta say. Asking, is anyone gonna display the screaming head? I don't think most people have an issue with the screaming head when they have an alternate version. I'll go back to when I was collecting Valaverse and the Tim Kennedy figure, Duster figure, he had a screaming head. I'm like, this is so stupid. He looked stupid. First off, the head sculpts weren't good to begin with. But that screaming head served so many purposes when doing displays or photography when they're attacking someone. And with him in the Despoiler, it actually works, right? The other thing that I can say is that the Mezco Destro that I have, and maybe that's why I haven't clamored for a Destro, is because of the Mezco one is so good. He has this shit-eating grin face, right? And I was like, I will never use that head. I will never use that face sculpt. And when I got that Destro, that Mezco, that is the face sculpt that I use most, because it looks so fucking good in person. So there are reasons to use it, but again, you go back to Crazy Legs. He should not have an only screaming head. He should have the head also that came with the HasLab one. So 3-star says, an unmasked Destro, a Destro with no mask, a Destro head with what he looks like under the mask. I don't want that. I don't think of Destro without a mask on, so I'd rather not have that. Anyway, Prophet says, I want a screaming head for Serpentor. Again, I mean, I have no issues with the screaming heads. I just think that some of them, again, you should have a non-screaming head for anyone that you do have. And then we have West Don of Pops saying Mezco Destro is peak. It is such a good figure. The fact that you can find that thing on sale for $50, and everyone hasn't bought it, shocks me. I've talked to so many people. I've convinced so many people just to buy it. And they're like, is it worth it? I'm like, dude, it is so fucking worth it. They started off strong, and I wish they would. I know they're expensive figures, and I know they'd be even more, but I wish Mezco was still making G.I. Joe figures. Anyway, so so if this is an actual size comparison to the Despoiler, I think and I've said this before, and I actually heard Lenny and Tony talking about this on, I forget who they were on when they were talking about it. they said, when we first started doing classified vehicles, we took in, we thought, well, it's basically going to be, whatever the scaled up version from the 3.75. But it doesn't work like that, because the 3.75, their shoulders aren't as big, and you can wiggle figures into it. You can't do that with these 112 scale figures. So the vamp had to be wider. The snowcat had to be much wider because it's walled in around it. So when you get stuff like this, you're going to look at hips. They're going to be a little bit bigger. Everything has to be wider. So if you are looking at this here, and let's say if this is how it's supposed to be scaled, and that's the size of it to him, this thing's going to be almost 12 inches wide, right? If you, and I bet now Baldy will probably, if you're watching, Baldy will probably cut it out, put Destro on a side, and see if you can fit 2 Destros right across, which would make it 12 inches wide. This thing is going to be a big vehicle. And just because, and I don't know who called it a beast. I really don't. But if this thing is 12 inches wide and 7 or 8 inches long, it's a pretty big fucking vehicle. Yeah, it's no fucking USS Flag. I can contest to that, considering, I have one sitting in my basement. The Plastic Battle says it's huge. Again, like 12 inch. I mean, believe me, you tell a woman you have 12 inches, they're telling you it's fucking huge. All right. So yeah, this is, again, it looks like it's going to be a pretty beefy size. So kind of looking at it, if this is what it's scaling to, because to me, it seems like they're making it, even though it's a one-seater, making it more than just a mid-sized vehicle, you're probably looking at $100. So I'm saying $75 to $100. I also thought the snake armor was going to be $100. Turn in, it came in at 85 or 75. So I was pleasantly happy about that. But anyway, 3-star says, I can't see this having a larger wingspan than the Claw. Why? And I mean that, like why can't you see this having a larger wingspan than the Claw? I mean, it's going to be bigger than the Claw. I mean, it's longer for sure. It has more weaponry on it, and it's going to be thicker than the Claw for sure, just for how it's set. So, Jeremy Kimberlin says this is the same price point as the All-Striker, $109.99. I mean, if it is, then this thing is going to have to be hopefully very, much larger. But again, we've heard different price points, and, say what you want. They have tried their best to keep a price point down for some things. Debo says $83.58. Toy Haptic says Punk is describing the spoiler, right? Baldy says it's too beastly. Billy Boy says 71-23. Are you guys voting on Gucci or Goodwill? What are we at? 84 votes, 74% say Goodwill. I'm with you guys, man. I am total Goodwill. Just so you know, I'm bargain bin guy. But anyway, now I'm interested. Kimberlin, he has a lot of insiders. $109.99. I would hope not, because I feel like this should be at a lower price point. It just seems like it'd be a smaller vehicle, but trying to look at the size of this thing, yeah, it's going to be pretty large for sure. Anyway, that is Destro and the Despoiler. I'm sure we will see it because, from my understanding, it has hit the U.S. market. Like, it is sitting here on the shores, or it's supposed to be hitting really shortly. So here we have the Hasbro Pulse fan stream. I'm going to quickly take a breather before we come back and talk about what we might see, what we might not see. And like I said, I have no knowledge of anything that is coming.
Democrats, incompetent buffoons. What is it now, Commander? Consummate morons, incapable of coherent thought. Are you watching that show again? Yes. Why didn't you just watch Pop Blender and Matthew's discussions, news, reviews before the show came out? Whether you agree or disagree, the perspectives provide enough context to know if the show or movie is worth your time or not. Yes, I know. I will not miss another Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 Central on Pop Blender's channel. Be more than once a man by watching Pop Blender and Matthew talk about pop culture news, discussions, and reviews on Tuesday nights, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 p.m. Central. And now you know. Televiper, be sure to hit like, share, and subscribe so we do not miss another episode, and hit that bell notification.
Fired? Have you recently lost your job with a major toy manufacturer? Tariffs got you down? You may be entitled to sharing your story on a major media streaming outlet. We want you to dish the dirt. Call Circle of Jerks at 900-555-0979. We will exploit you for our personal gain. That number again is 900-555-0979. Circle of Jerks. Every client gets a cookie.
All right. So now Billy Boy's Toy says, I think the All Striker is okay at $109.99, but not this. So as I was watching the commercial and I was going through it, please go watch Matthew Matson and Pop Blender tomorrow on Pop Blender's channel at 10 p.m. Also, Circle of Jerks, 6:30 over on Baldy Locks, 6:30-ish, Baldy Locks. We'll be on there. And we'll be talking about Gucci or Goodwill. Or will we? I don't know. Anyway, what I have to say about this is when you look at the All Striker, which started off at $100, now it's gone up to $110. There's a lot more to it. Now, again, we'd have to actually see what the Despoiler looks like, right? But we'd actually have to see what it looks like. The All Striker has rubber tires. It has shocks. It does have a steering mechanism. All the accessories, all the little accessories that came with crankcase. You have the weapons on the top. Now, this has a lot of missiles, but I'm with you. Like I feel like there is much more to the All Striker, and there's more to the All Striker, in my opinion, than the Vamp too. But again, they were able to keep the price point at a specific, at a specific spot. So hopefully they don't jack it up. They also know that they can. So that's the biggest thing. Now, Plastic Battles here says the spoiler is roughly as wide as the Vamp. Stinger is long, not quite the wingspan of the Claw, with the wing tips up. Okay. And that's what I was trying to, again, I have to look at them. I really trust what Plastic Battles has to say. Paul is very knowledgeable on this. Lego Star Wars Kid says, I don't get the pull. Goodwill or Gucci. You don't always have to get the pull to understand it. All right. Tune in tomorrow. Circle of Jerks, 6:30-ish p.m. Maybe we'll discuss it. We will definitely, fuck it. We will discuss it for sure. Let's just say we were compared. The Circle of Jerks were called Goodwill compared to other Gucci channels. We'll just say that, okay? And we'll leave it at that. We are a fucking Goodwill channel. In other words, we are shit. We are the bottom of the barrel. We are nothing. And some of these other channels are just fucking Gucci. But you know what? I'm happy with my Goodwill fucking buddies. And I'm happy with the Goodwill people that tune in to fucking watch us. Because we have fucking fun. Anyway. Kimberlyn says Serpentor was $79.99 in 2022. Yes, but that was also an exclusive That was also when they didn't have a specific price point. Also when they did a smaller run of everything. All that, again, all that stuff has to be, in my opinion, has to be worked into it. And Plastic Battle says this is way bigger than the Air Chariot, and also factor inflation tariff. Yeah, and again, we are sitting here, and I saw someone else, make the comment. No use even like worrying about this before we even know it, and that's very fucking true. Like we have no fucking clue. But anyway, let's get into this. So Wednesday, April 1st. This is not an April Fool's. If you remember, this has been a few times they've dropped stuff on April 1st. So anyway, hopefully they don't cancel this stream. I hope they have no like ICE agents coming. Who else do people not like right now? TSA agents. I hope they don't have any of those where they have to cancel a whole fucking stream because God forbid they show police officers and they might offend somebody. So hopefully we actually get this. But anyway, 11 a.m. Eastern, because that's how we look at things. We are doing a special missions at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over on Baldy's for Circle of Jerks. You guys have got to know that we do the special missions when they're doing special drops like that. Anyway, I want to talk about maybe some speculation of things that might be coming. And it's kind of funny because there's a lot of stuff that from numerous people I was told was coming. And, as I just look at this here, Hydra Viper, that was one of them. The female Crimson Guard, Deep Six. I was told about Destro with the Despoiler. Holy shit. Hold on, guys. Just everyone calm down for a second and get ready because
acknowledge me.
That's right. Ken from Toy Connection. Everyone say hi to Ken, please. We don't want to start trouble anywhere. We have acknowledged Ken, and it is the most important thing that we can do on any channel is acknowledge when Ken shows up. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys all say hi to Ken a little bit longer. But a lot of the stuff that was, that people had told me, we're watching more and more of this stuff come to fruition, right? Royal Guard was one of them. Red Dog and Taurus, we kind of all knew that was coming. The female Crimson Guard, Deep Six, Destro with the Despoiler. I even told people, I'm like, once it was out, I'm like, I saw the images of it. There was this Legacy Infantryman. Well, clearly that is, this guy right here. No one really knew that. I was told that there was a Rugged Duke coming. All right. We couldn't figure out what Rugged Duke is. I think it's safe to say that Rugged Duke is the 250th anniversary Duke. Maybe there'll be a different one coming. So the question is, what might be shown to us this week? Now, I think we can all agree we'll probably see the Despoiler. It is supposedly hit the shelves, or not hit the shores. That was, I don't know. There were two different reports of two different figures that have hit. I forget what they were, what the code names were. So that was one of them. So I think it's safe to say we'll see that, and we'll probably see. We keep seeing images, or we kept seeing images of the retro Wild Bill. So I'm pretty sure we'll see that. Again, we already know what Grunt looks like. We already know what the Techno Viper looks like. So I think it's safe to say we'll see that. I'm gonna throw this out there. I think you might see. I think you might see something. We might see something fatal. If you're following my Instagram, you might be able to figure it out. Other people figured it out. there was a leaked listing of a code-worded figure that hit the shores, and I posted a picture of a Super 7 Fatal figure. I'll let you do the rest, right? If it has actually hit the shores, my guess is you are going to see a Fatal Fluffy figure shown off. Now, I know people are going to say, we're not getting a fucking Fatal Fluffy. Whatever, dude. We've been hearing things that we're not going to get for quite some time, and they keep doing it, right? So if it is actually here, I think they want to get ahead of things now when things start popping up. It gets leaked. Why not show it off, right? They've spent so much time hiding stuff, and I don't really know why, but this is where they should just kind of like, hey, it's here. It's going to be here before you know it. Rather than it show up somewhere, let's fucking show it and get people excited for it. Pop Blender jumping in here saying, hey man, sorry I'm so late. Just got out of work. I wanted to come by and hit the like button and say what's up. Never apologize for being late. I'm just happy that some people were able to show up, whoever it is. So I've been told that the first figure that you saw, Yugo or whatever it was supposed to be the Fatal Fluffy. We'll see. I was told about the Fatal Fluffy quite some time ago. And hopefully it's true, because I know people are really interested in this. People are interested in a lot of what the Sunbow did. Again, you guys know my feelings. Now, if I get the Fatal Fluffy, he's definitely going in with my Dreadnoks, right? Like, I think he has to go in with the Dreadnoks for sure. Stanley jumping in here saying River Otter Pets and Dreadnought modular bike system, 2 or 3 bike frames with 25 modular snaps on parts. I don't know what you're having dreams of there, Stanley. You just explained something that's going to be like $500. So again, they start giving us these digital renders here. They start giving us these digital renders here. You would assume that they're going to, or these name only reveals, they're going to start showing you the digital renders. So kind of hoping for Deep 6. I would assume, did we see it? I'm trying to think. Did we see a digital render of Deep 6? I don't remember if we saw a digital render. Now, I did hear that is supposed to be a a deluxe figure. So we're looking at the $43 price point, which I know people aren't going to like, but that's going to be a big, bulky fucking figure. Commander Wolf says, I take a Fatal Fluffy over Cobra La, but you can have both of them. So what's wrong with that, right? Plastic Battle says, I bet we see a render for Deep 6, and he goes up for order in June. So the rumor is most of the G.I. Joe female collectors are also hoping for a Deep 6, but they're hoping that it goes up before June. Jamie Garcia says, I would prefer more references from the Marvel comics than the Sunbow cartoon. I'm with you, but I understand and accept that many more watched and remember the cartoon. I don't think that's exactly true, but I do believe, in my opinion, there are more people that think of the cartoon as canon than the comic, which I would say the comic is more than anything. But for me, I hope they pull from both, and I hope they go into Devil's Due. I definitely hope they go into the whole Energon universe. I want this line to be around for 20 fucking years, man. I don't want to get into another line. I want this. I want to sit back and you see that wall behind me, and I want to get to the point where that wall is fucking going on to another wall, and there's just figure upon figure, and we're sitting at like 400 or 500 fucking figures. And you can do it with the comics because they own all the rights. Lenny said it. We own all the rights to every character except for the Fridge and Sergeant Slaughter. Those are the only ones that they do not. They don't own the rights to. Obviously, right now they have a contract with Sarge. Why the Fridge wouldn't want to do one, I don't know. It's not like the guy's making money or anything. He's not doing appearances. It's a way for him to put some money in his pocket. And from my understanding, he's not doing all that well. Plastic Battle says, I'm going to enjoy it while it lasts, while it's still $43. I kind of feel the same way. So I think those are some that might be. I also think that there's a good chance that we might finally see the hooded Cobra Commander. This is a rumored figure that I've talked to numerous people about. The one person that I spoke to who has done work with the team before, I asked what's changed, and he said, leadership at the top that handles this. And this was something we had always talked about. It's not that they couldn't make hooded Cobra Commander. They own the rights to it. They just were not allowed to. And there's a huge difference. And to all the people that said, well, Star Wars has the Snow Troopers, and that looks more like a KKK member. I understand, but that is a completely different property. Or Baron Zemo is a true Nazi. Like, okay, we get it. Like, I get it, but those are properties owned by other people. Unless they're super heinous, they're at the mercy of what they said. Where Hasbro owns the rights to G.I. Joe. But if leadership has changed, and from my understanding, I've spoken to someone that said they have seen the inserts. Now, again, I could just chalk that up to anything, but I've talked to people that I know are in the know, and I've seen stuff just like this, that a hooded Cobra Commander, and this has been widely talked about, and with the price point of being, I think, $59.99, something like that. What it's going to come with, I don't know. I can't even imagine. I think maybe a podium. Again, I don't give me the world domination hand, please. I don't need another fucking world domination hand. I have more than enough. But that's one of those things. And if I know this, right? If this fucking some YouTube guy knows this, I fully believe that this is the reason why Big Bad Toy Store or Big Bad Workshop, Fresh Monkey Fiction, why they pushed out that not hooded Cobra Commander, because they're like, we need to get this out here so people will fucking buy this. We need to get it out here before Hasbro officially drops what they're going to do. And again, if I know this, there's no way that those guys over there don't have an idea. Do I think Bill will tell me, yeah, that's exactly why we did it when I talk to him? No, I don't, because this is, again, there's secrets of the trade. But just breaking it down and thinking about it logically, they probably knew it. And there's a reason why those figures, they're like, we need to push out. We need to get these figures over here. So let's push them out. We know people were flipping out about it 2 years ago when they first showed them off. So I would just say, you guys have waited. This was not a ploy. And I know people are like, they're just waiting. No, they weren't just waiting. All right. They weren't allowed to do it. And I sat there and I talked to Corey, and Corey broke down the whole thing to me at Joe Fest, right? Again, Corey worked there. He broke down the whole thing. He explained it. It was no different than what Bobby Valla had talked about, what Mark Weber had talked about. All these people that were there, they talked about it in the past, all the way to when the classified line had started. I don't know if it's retro. I'm assuming no, because the price point is supposed to be like $60, I think. So I wouldn't say it's not going to be a retro. Uh, I think they have to feel it out and see. I also don't believe that there's no way that they don't pay attention to other brands, right? They have to see what Fresh Monkey Fiction is doing. Now, all that is an executioner mask. So you can't go after them and be like, dude, you use an executioner mask. That's like you can't own the rights to that. It's just a hood, right? It's just a hood. And they're doing all kinds of stuff with it. But yeah, this is one of those things where, you know, I believe all the people that have told me that it's coming. Plastic Battle says Joe Team tried to get him into the Hiss HasLab and got shut down. That kind of makes sense. You'd want to do it behind a paywall. And I think that was the big telling tale, like that they couldn't do it in a paywall, that it was going to be hidden down. And Darkion says a hooded Cobra Commander with a podium. I think it would be perfect. Now, I have heard nothing about a podium, but when I hear a high price point like that, it has to be something else. And I think a throne is just, there's too many 3D printed thrones. As cool as it could be, a podium to me, like that is speaking power. Like you are speaking from a PowerPoint to an audience of people, whether they want to listen to you or not. That I think would work. So I wouldn't be surprised if they hint at that. I'm also wondering, this is about the time that they hint at what the HasLab is going to be. Now, I have not heard anything about a HasLab yet. I spoke to one person that, like I said, they're in the know. And I said, have you heard anything about a HasLab? And he said, I haven't. He said, the rumors from a Thunder Machine to a Moray, they're all there, but there is nothing that he has heard that is letting anyone think like, hey, this is what it's going to be. This is what we're dropping. So no one really has any idea. I spoke very highly about what I think when it comes to the Moray and the reasons why I don't think that they would do it right now. I'm not saying they couldn't, and I'm not saying they wouldn't. I also, again, I don't know this for sure. I don't think just because they've done Joe Cobra doesn't mean they have to continue doing it like that. It's just how it's worked. If they could do another Joe one, I don't think people would be like, oh my God, they didn't do a Cobra one. I'm not backing this. You got to pick what you think is going to sell the best. And you don't want to go through another Snowcat issue where, again, everyone had funded super quickly that Snowcat people waited on. So we will see. I have heard about a Mistress Armada. Now you have to go back and look at, I believe it was in Devil's Due. She's part of the Iron Grenadiers. I would love to see an Iron Grenadier Baroness. There's no doubt that we will eventually have an Iron Grenadier Baroness, as she is so closely tied to Destro. But there is rumor of this Iron Grenadier, or this Mistress Armada. And if you go, you can find her really easy. Google G.I. Joe, Mistress Armada. I've done streams where I've talked about her and everything. There's supposed to be a Legacy Snow Rescue Trooper. I talked about that. The fact that they've shown one Legacy figure, if there is another one coming, I think this would be a perfect time to do. I don't think you really want a name only reveal for a Legacy. No one really cares. If people want to see a digital render or something like that, you want name only reveals of characters that are well established, that but these are a couple of the ones. Now, I have no idea. I have no idea if this one is coming. This is something that I heard from numerous people, and I talked about it, and that is Laura Croft. And I know people will be like, what the fuck what would Laura Croft have to do with it? I have no idea either. But there were, there were rumors that I heard of Rocky and Rambo. They both got nixed, from my understanding. So whether Laura Croft will be something that's real, but I've heard this from numerous people. And from one person, you know, his source, he put an order in for all of these figures, including the hooded Cobra Commander. So I'll be interested to see what else is going to be shown, because there's no way they're just going to show these 4 figures, right? Hopefully they give us something new. Now, there are supposed to be some Target exclusives. And now you're looking at Ninja Force. And my understanding, there's, I think, 2 Ninja Force 2-packs that are supposed to be coming. And Target has the Ninja Force exclusives. So, all you have to do is kind of go through the Ninja Force figures, and you can start putting figures together and seeing which one. But I understand there is supposed to be a couple that will be coming in Ninja Force. Now, it was confirmed to me, but you can just kind of take it for that. Now, will they show off the Target exclusives? Will Moody be there to boo them if they announce a Target exclusive? I don't know that type of stuff, but I do know that, again, I don't know why the Target is still it's such a sore spot for so many people when, I don't know, all those exclusives are just sitting there. I can go buy divers like crazy. I was able to buy Short Fuse and Steeler. I was able to get them if I wanted one. So, but Ninja Force 2-pack, again, there's a couple that, from my understanding, is supposed to be coming. And then there's supposed to be another Ninja Force 2-pack. I can't remember who they were. Trying to think of who the second one was. But if you go to the Ninja Force figures, you can start figuring out which ones weren't done. Evan Edward jumping in here saying, hey, and then No Quarter says Walmart sucks too. Well, Walmart has a lot of G.I. Joe stuff right now. I will say this. Other than the first wave of G.I. Joe retro figures that were Walmart exclusive, I don't know if I've ever seen any. Well, I take that back. I've seen a couple of the Crimson Guard. I saw a couple Crimson Guard. I don't know if I've ever seen a Walmart exclusive G.I. Joe figure in Walmart. They have a lot of other figures right now, including, the action soldier and stuff. And they got the Royal Guards that are popping up like crazy. But I don't, other than those first 4, I don't know if I've ever seen. Oh, I take that back. Recently, some of them have popped up that were over a year old. The Quarrel and Falcon, which is great because that has done wonderful for me on my channel, because people started looking it up more when they realized they could find it. So, that is not true at all. That is not true at all. There are people that have found more than enough, including people found the dire vipers, or whatever they were. Those were all over. I never saw one, but they're not online only. That's the best way to get them. Yeah, and Crystal Ball was another one, or Ghost Viper. That's it. Yeah. So yeah, they're not. Yeah, they're not exclusives, but it's the best way to get it. That's one thing. And I'll say this: like, if you, at least for me, if you use PayPal, they charge you right away, and I feel like your order I've never had an order get canceled. Knock on wood. I've never had an order canceled, but I use PayPal, so they charge you right away. So they're already holding the funds. It might be a little tip, and I can tell you this: like, when it comes to Target, use either open up a Target credit card or use the Target debit card, one of their circle cards, and they won't constantly ping your credit card, and your orders normally don't get canceled, and you don't pay shipping. That's the other thing a lot of people don't realize. So you can get away with it that way too. But I'm not, again, everyone's kind of been hush hush as of late. And, when people were to tell me stuff and they say, hey, you can't say anything, I tend to keep it quiet. I don't want to get too deep into it. But the Fatal Fluffy was something that we talked about a while ago. The fact that it got leaked at that codename hit, and a couple people that I asked, and at least one person figured it out right away. That leak went up. If you're following me on Instagram, I posted the picture of it was just the Fatal Fluffy from Super 7. And then I did the same thing with the Destro and the Despoiler. It's nice to just kind of drop these little hints. And if they come true, they come true. And again, I've been wrong before. I've totally been wrong before. I'm okay with being wrong. This is, again, a lot of people, they can't admit when they're wrong. This is all a guessing game. But it'll be interesting to see what they have. Now, as for the water moccasin, I have said that the water moccasin is supposed to come. My understanding is that it's got pushed back till next year. That one person told me that they kind of got scared off by the price point because of everything going up. Another person told me that they were having issues with the tooling, and this is the reason why it got pushed back. Either way, both people told me that it got pushed back. I've heard nothing more about it. But again, most of the stuff that we were told about, Heart Wrencher. Has Heart Wrencher been announced yet? Heart Wrencher was announced so fucking long ago. She was rumored so long ago that it shocked me that I don't think they've actually shown her. Oh no, I think there was I forget all of them. I thought there was a name only reveal for Heart Wrencher. But I would be interested to see. And I hope that, and I'm not reading the Energon universe. I'm not. People tell me I should. I just really don't go ahead and I don't read the stuff. But I hope that they dig into that. I want this, like I said, I want this line to survive. I do not have to have only what I had back in the 80s. There are too many people that are like that, and that's fine. If that's all you want, if you just want to live off nostalgia, that's fine. You're more than welcome. I don't ride old, I don't ride shaped skateboards. That is archaic to me. I believe in progression. Yes, do I believe in some things were better in the 80s? Fuck yeah, it's what I grew up in. But I definitely like to see things progress. I want to see it evolve. Do I still want to see some stuff harken back? I do. But you listen to a lot of people, and they say, you know what? When the line, when these collectors start dying off, this line's going to die off because they're not creating. Well, this is now the perfect time to continue to start creating new characters. There is 2 different G.I. Joe lines going on, or two different properties. From my understanding, there is a cartoon that Kirkman is working on. Why they don't just say, hey, Kirkman, what are your thoughts of doing a live action film? Would you be interested? Maybe they have. I don't know. What they should do more than anything is tell Devon Adventure, you're fucking fired. You're never touching a fucking G.I. Joe or Transformer property again. That's what they need to do. I feel like they won't. I don't know why. Todd C says, Punk dropping all these unverified leaks without worry that Viper Island will dox him. Well, I didn't send them to him, but if you do remember, he did his best to make sure that he showed pictures of me with War Chest at Assembly Required. Now, once again, there's other pictures he could have used of me with War Chest, and he could have taken he could have used a whole bunch of other pictures, but he specifically wanted to make sure that everyone knew that War Chest was associated with me And if you're starting to notice, almost everything that was sent to him that he talked about is coming true, because I was with War Chest with one of the sources had already told me. He told War Chest, I believe, afterwards, because he knew that I was close with War Chest. And again, that's one of those things where I said, hey, I didn't leak any of this. You and we had a relationship. You asked me not to say anything. I didn't. And I think it kind of screwed me from getting some inside information from this person. And I fully understand that, because when you're getting information, you don't want to let it leak. And you have to make sure that, that anyone you are passing that information on to isn't leaking it. So I made sure, like, hey, I need just to clear my own self, because there's so much of the shit that I like everything that fucking Destro, my spirit animal, talked about in that whole video, I've known for months. This channel has never been about being this, breaking news, right? That's what I've never understood. Like, people thought they're jealous of me. Have you ever seen me do a 3-minute fucking video to fucking break news? No. Have you ever seen me do an AI video? No, and you never will, right? I talk about the news. I don't try and be the insider that can break everything. If someone tells me, hey, you know what, you're more than welcome, to go on with this, then I will. But the moment they say, hey, you know what, this is between you and I, then it stays between us. And I leave it there. And I can tell you, even the guys in the circle of jerks, like right here, I don't tell them either. Like, it's just one of those things. I said, okay, Punk, rank your greatest leaks that you didn't reveal. I'm gonna have to go with Scarlet as number 1, and Snake Eyes number 2. And look, I say his name, and War Chest is here. So but I do like that. I should do a ranking video of the ranking the greatest leaks that I didn't reveal. I think Scarlet would be number 1. And again, there's a couple coming. Look at this. And 3-star says, Tuco Viper runs a news channel. I need to start putting a spin on this news. Let's see here. Kimberly says in January 2025, before she was announced, it's currently 2026. I'm not sure who you are. You must be speaking to somebody. The retro cover girl. Oh yeah, so I'm honest. I tell everyone where I buy my figures from. I have bought some from Return of the Nerd. I tried that twice, and not 2 figures. I was like 2. I used to buy stuff from CMD Store. Now CMD Store is such a crapshoot, and what I mean by that is, by the time it's hitting CMD Store, it usually means Entertainment Earth or Amazon or Big BTS or going to start shipping it. And you might get burned. So I've kind of backed away from CMD Store. I don't think I've ordered anything off. Actually, I know I haven't ordered anything off eBay. The only figure that I've ever bought off eBay was the original Destro, and that was quite some time ago. And I don't care if people do. It's your money, man. That you fucking do. Like, people get so pissed off that these guys are going on eBay. It's like, who the fuck cares? Like, it's your money, man. As long as you're taking care of your family, if you want to be fucking first. But I had someone reach out to me with the Retro Flint and say, hey, you know what? I got the Retro Flint. I'm a huge fan of the channel. And I'd love for you to be the first one to do the review. And I was like, how much do you want for it? And he was like, Nothing. I'm a big fan of the channel. I said, okay, that's cool. And so he sent it to me. So that retro Flint was up there for quite some time. I think it's at like over 10,000 views. And it was up for maybe like 9 months before the new one even came out, before it was even like announced. And that one came with CoverGirl. And I know Jeremy Kimberlin had CoverGirl. But the guy that sent it to me, he also at the same time sent me a picture of the green shirts and said, yeah, I also got these ones too. He wasn't offering them to me. And I didn't ask, hey, can you send them to me so I can do a review on it? He probably would have, but I didn't, again, like if someone's going to offer, that's great. I'm not going to do, I think that's really, very douchebaggish to ask somebody, hey, you don't do reviews, can you send it to me? And I'm going to review it. Again, there's ethical ways of doing things, and again, that's just my own personal opinion, my personal feelings. And again, everyone knows I have very strong feelings on certain things. Like you don't promote your show on other people's show, different things like that. Like you don't go on people's channels and, plug your own stuff. I'm very adamant about it. Not everyone feels the same way. But yeah, I saw the green shirt a long time before it even got shown. And I even had somebody tell me that my retro Flint, because it wasn't announced yet, that it looks like a knockoff. And first off, and it's in the comments, like you can read the comments. I don't delete anything. It says something like, the shotgun doesn't look right, which I was like, I don't know what doesn't look right about it. The only thing that is really odd about the retro Flint that I have is his hand color is off a little bit. That was, in his gloves. His gloves are not as dark. They're like a lighter grayish brown. I don't even know how to explain the color that it is. But it's one of those very unique things. And someone was like, that kind of seems like a knockoff. This figure, it was right after the figure was just announced. It's like, this figure was just announced and you already have it. Something seems fishy. And, I'm just sitting there like, dude, like, how about you just go look at my fucking channel before you make a comment like this? And just look and see what my content like consists of, right? That's what doesn't make any sense. Like all you have to do is go look at my content, look at some of my live streams and understand like, all right, this is a guy. Sometimes he's going to get stuff earlier than others. Very seldom do I get stuff as early as Bees Battlegrounds or Shark Eyes, right? And that's fine. Like they go about it a certain way. Shark Eyes is also in he's in I want to say Alaska, and then I want to go to Arizona. It's not even in the States. In Australia. So he gets things at a different time. Bees Battleground tells people, hey, you know what? I have a hookup overseas. That's how you get things. I know someone who doesn't do reviews that gets stuff early. His buddy actually came over with Don Moreno, right? Like, so these figures are already boxed and ready to go. I mean, you've seen some of the guys, they already have, Ninja Force Zartan, even though he's street dated. You can get him other ways. Those are the ones that, like, if you see on CMD Store, when they're going to come out, because Target has a self-imposed street date that they will not break. They will not break. So 3-star says, well, all big YouTubers get everything first and free. Yeah. Yes, that is true. Speaking of big time YouTubers, we're at the end of the show. And now it's time to talk about this game changer that I have. And that is a Punk with Toys APW crates by Random Diorama. You know what? Let's quickly drop a link so you guys can head on over there and purchase 1, 2, or more. And once again, these are game changers. You look at it right there. What does that say? It says, I'm kind of a big deal, written in like a serial number. When you open it up, this is the first model. The new model is going to have 4 slots, and it fits the XMLRs perfectly. I was told the Valiver's AK-47s also will fit in here. It's going to look nice, and these will come out. This just slides right out. You can set it on top, and then you can have a crate all to yourself to do whatever you want. But maybe you're like, you know what? I don't need this. I don't need a weapons design like that. I like the box. Can I get the box? You can't get the box alone, but you can get it with these little drawers here. And look at this. These little drawers, they come out. These are 3D printed. This is actual wood that is actually engraved into it. They have little handles so they can hold it. You can put all kinds of stuff in it. And then 2 that go in here are 2 half the size. They both come out, and you can move them around. You can see all our pictures, or you can go back and watch last Thursday with a friend with random diorama. So you can pop these in here. Look at this. It slides back and forth. Maybe you want to hide something underneath it. Wouldn't be hiding all that much because you just have to move it like that, right? But these are a game changer. And what I want to see is I want to see these in the back on Instagram. I want to see these in pictures. I want to be tagged in these game changers. And you know what? You make sure you tag Random Diorama and Action Figs. And I'd say Matthew Matson. It's Mamu Nestor. But yes, these things right here, they're a game changer. There's 2 different ones. And depending on the color that you want for the inserts, if you message Random Diorama, Radnom as we call them, you can ask for red, black, OD green, or a dull gray. You cannot get the crates in different colors because it is actual wood. So this is the wood. This is all done with laser engraving. He creates them. The inserts are the only things that are a different color. You have to ask him. He has red, black, gray, and OD green. So, but they, again, if you go and you look at some of the stuff, they look nice. And again, the whole idea came from what Hella Dope Toys used to do. So many people bought those. They looked amazing. I don't get anything for this. This was something I just want to see my logo in the back on people's pictures. I love seeing the stickers that I send out to people. I love seeing those in the back when people are doing streams or they do videos. I love seeing that stuff. Yes, what's in the fucking box? Talking Hand says, good for all those Action Force hands, which I no longer have. I actually was going through my stuff. I have 4 Action Force figures left. 2 dusters. Actually, I have 5. 2 dusters. I have a plain black soldier, Sergeant Slaughter, and I still have my dark. What's coming that went out of business again? The exclusive that went out of business. But yeah, those are the only ones I have. So I no longer have a vase of Valor hands. What I could have is a vase of Big Bad Workshop hands. Because Dorkside, that was Dorkside exclusive. God, I have a lot of hands from them. So many hands from them. Yep, no quarter, thank you. Dorkside. So many. Yeah, so many hands from Operation Monster Force and now Soldiers of Fortune, and there's going to be more and more, and they have different lines coming. I was thinking I should rank all the hands. That'd be a pretty sweet video, ranking the different hands that come with Big Bag Workshop. Maybe I'll get started on that video once I'm done here. But anyway, I think it's about to wrap it up. Let's see here. Going back to our poll, there is, let's see here, 93 votes, and 30% of you are Gucci, and 70% of you are Goodwill. What that's telling me is that 70% of you would rather watch the Circle of Jerks than some of these Gucci YouTube channels. And I'm with you, man. I'm all about the Goodwill people hanging out with us. We are all Goodwill people on Circle of Jerks. I'm clearly the Goodwill here. I would like to think that my moderators, they're also Goodwill characters. But just know that the Circle of Jerks, when you are looking at them as live streamers, we're the Goodwill. We're the ones that were thrown away. No one ever thought we could amount to anything. And we're just the scraps that the big YouTubers, the more popular channels, didn't want to have anything to do with. But we made it work. So anyway, I'm going to get out of here. Please, if you haven't yet and you want some of those boxes, they are being made as ordered. He said he got 4 different orders today while the stream started. I'm not really sure. The price, I think, is $18. I think it's $5.50 shipping and handling. Every box that you add to it is 25 cents to add for shipping, so it's not very expensive. He also has a lot of other things that you can order up there. So check out his stuff. He does wonderful work. He is a wonderful guy. I would not partner up with someone I didn't think was going to do a good job. Many of you have the hella dope crates and boxes. You know how awesome they are. You know how good they look in pictures. They just make your pictures look better. And I think Punk with Toys, which is a channel that you can see fucking every single week, right? Almost every single week. Every now and then I take a week off. You can see. And not only is it cool to see my logo in the back of some of your pictures, and I will repost anytime I am tagged in one like that. Also know that it's going to piss off some other YouTubers when they see my logo back there and that people are supporting me. But you know what? It is time for me to go. Thank you guys all. Please tune in tomorrow, 6:30-ish, over on Baldy Lock's channel, Circle of Jerks. That's when we go on. And then after that, over on Pop Blender's channel for the evening blend. Matthew Matson, my moderator, and Pop do a show about pop culture. You guys all have a wonderful night. I'm getting out of here. Take care.